My husband and I tried opening up our relationship, but my husband immediately got jealous.
Ooh, it sounds like he can't handle the heat.
So get out the kitchen.
Yes.
So my husband and I have been together for 8 years and married for 3. We have an active spicy sleep life and had, a very good romantic relationship.
Oh, no.
That bodes confidence. In the past month and a half, we've been talking about opening the relationship to be able to experience things together. By the way, this comes from throwaway confused div on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I have only known him, meaning in the spicy sleep type way, I think, and he has had other experiences. We have very close friends who have an open relationship for their entire friendship, and we're in the talks of doing something together with our female friend.
Okay.
We spent a very long time talking about how we would want to do this and be physical and not emotional. We set up rules, made sure that if we proceeded with this, we must be very open and communicate everything. So basically, it seems like they're getting on a little action with one of their friends or something. Getting
in on that action.
Adding some people to the mix. You know what I mean?
Can't have a party without throwing a couple
of
eggs.
After a lot of back and forth and prep, we have decided we do want to go forward with this and plan to get together one of these days since we are in a different state. They're in a different state from each other or a different state from...
They're emotionally,
apparently.
Yeah.
We traveled yesterday to visit our friends and see the family. So there you go. He did not mention anything about doing things today with said friends. And I expected today to just be very platonic and get to know each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's chill. We're chatting.
We're just seeing if we mesh.
I don't think so. Towards 11:30 p.m., he told me he wanted to do things with her. And very shortly after that, she pulled me to the side to let me know that my husband expressed that to her. I did not want to be involved at first since, 1, he did not state that it was a 3-way, and 2, I was exhausted. 3-way means 3 times the work.
Yeah.
Fast forward, after some truth or dare exercises, I got involved, and it was great.
Okay. I was like, I didn't want to do it, but
it was kind of cool. I went to shower quickly and prep while they continued alone, and by the time I came back, he got off and they were waiting for me. We continued, and it was honestly fun. Sometime after I got off, love OP's coded language, he just stared at us.
Okay, read. Stop.
Ignored our calls for an invitation. And he just left the house.
oh.
My friend and I quickly got dressed and we ran out to follow, confused. He was just expressing how he was feeling insecure and jealous that it completely messed up his mood.
Okay, well, you started this. You freaking started this, brother.
Yeah. Without going into extreme detail, we asked our friend to give us some space, and my husband basically said he didn't like seeing me in that situation and that the spicy sleep was unfair. Not a fun fair.
You started it, and you didn't even, make sure OP was on board. You just kind of,
Right?
you were like, yo, we're doing it.
Well, now I don't like it so much.
No, it's not as fun because you were there.
I know. Oh, my God. Yeah, actually. It was 2 a.m. by this point, and I didn't want to look insane arguing outside. So after some back and forth, I told him we can continue inside. He explained to me that he felt bad once he saw that she was going down on me and I was having fun. Sir!
Just because
Sir!
you can't please your woman
Dude.
doesn't mean other people can't.
Do you not?
It's
No
just
words.
funny. They have this idea in their head, and then they go through with it, and they're like, "Oh wait, no, actually, no."
Like, what do you think is going to happen? What do you
What was
think
the
will
purpose
happen?
of it? Just
was
for
the
you to be
purpose?
happy?
What did you think was that? Anyways. So he let it bottle up, and instead of saying anything, he just walked out. At first, I was trying to understand and talk about this more until my friend mentioned that they talked about this prior and that she thought that he would be okay. I was very confused because I thought this was a last-minute thing. Turns out that he had been, spicy texting her and talking to her about this for a month. all while telling her that I knew, which OP didn't. It was false.
False.
False. She was very open and handed me her phone and showed me all the texts and messages where she reiterates that I need to be told / made aware / be okay with it. And he always told her that I was good with it. Hey, shout out to this friend at least.
Shout
She's
out,
like,
yeah. Well, she even told her like at when they got to the place, like, hey, your boyfriend brought this up to me,
yeah.
right?
Like,
Like
you
she brought it
good?
up. She brought it up again,
She's like
even though she
continuing.
thought that they had already had a conversation about it.
Yeah, she's like continuing to
Yeah.
check in with her to make
Yeah.
sure she's okay. W move. This is where it all went to crap, as if it didn't go to crap already.
Yeah.
He has been lying to all of us. He's been keeping things secret, and worst of all, he worded / did things in a way so that I am in a position to just agree with it. I had a very serious and harsh conversation with him in front of our friends that what he did broke all of the rules that we set. I even found out that he exploded in her doing this. And yeah, that.
Oatmeal cream pie. You know?
Oatmeal cream pie, baby.
Ugh.
We were fighting until 6 a.m. in the
Oh
morning.
my god.
Oh, see,
That's
if
wild.
you weren't such a loser, you could have been doing something else until 6 a.m. But guess what? You can't.
You can't because you're inadequate.
Yup.
And you don't last long.
Nope. I genuinely don't know if we can come back from this.
Hey.
Hey, yo.
Like that Kim K video.
Uh-oh. It's not about the spicy sleep. It's the lying. It's the throwing blame back to me. He often does this. Halfway through tearing him a new one, he admitted to all his faults and provided no excuses. He genuinely thought that this wasn't going to be a problem because I agreed to explore. He also said that the spicy sleep was unfair because it felt like I was getting special service and not him.
You already got your service. It's not our problem that it doesn't take a long time to service your car.
By the time I got involved, he was already finished.
Yikes.
Come
Give
on,
me
brother.
a break.
Oh,
Come
brother.
This guy sucks.
Thanks.
Everything led to him basically acting out because I got involved in the spicy sleep. He just wanted me to let him have his fun, but won't accept that I want to as well. He left back to our home state, and I will be staying here for another 2 weeks. I don't even know how to feel, and I've been jumping from sad to mad to nothing. I'm sorry if this isn't as detailed or if it's messy or if it's missing a lot, but this is the first time I am writing a post this long ever. I can provide more details and questions. I know this stemmed from an insecurity from him, but I would like some advice on how to approach him with this and see why he genuinely thought it would be okay.
I'll break up with him.
Break up.
Break up with him.
How do I proceed with this?
Break up with him.
What can I do to make him understand what he did was not okay at all?
Break up with him.
Yeah. So Sophia, what should we do here?
I'll break up with him.
Break up with him.
Yeah, break up with him. It wasn't okay. He's not going to understand. He sucks. And he doesn't have anything to offer.
That's it.
And those are my thoughts.
Update. I just wanted to provide some more info. So, 1, I told him to seek therapy. I refuse to do anything /talk until he can get some sessions in. Good point. This way, I can also have some time for myself as well as actually enjoy visiting friends and family. Yeah. He has already signed up to some programs and is waiting for an appointment, according to another mutual friend. 2, I don't really care about spicy sleep and am not emotionally connected to the act itself. Just him. I can live the rest of my life without it. Wow, Opie's a freaking
dang.
dude. I love how.
Oh my gosh.
I love how Opie goes from monk to like threesome. Like what?
Yeah.
What range?
Like, I can do whatever. I'm
I
down
can
for
live without
whatever.
it.
I'm cool.
Live with it.
But I completely love my husband and want to bang with him. Oh
That's
God.
Cool.
Wait,
Number
your
3.
husband that sucks?
I mean, I
Used
think
to like pre-threesome.
yeah, like
Okay,
he was the
okay.
one I wanted to.
I want to bang with him.
Not so much anymore. Number 3, he was very much telling me for weeks that he was on the same page as me. We collect our nut and go. He obviously lied about that too. My girlfriend didn't even know he came in her until I rejoined and he said it. We were both very shocked. She is on birth control and thoroughly cleaned out as much as humanly possible.
They weren't doing it with protection?
Looks like we were both very shocked. She said,
Dude, that's
Seems like it was just on birth control.
wild.
And it wasn't
Yep.
no protection.
no
You
protection.
said, I'm going to try to get a woman pregnant here.
Dude, you suck.
By the way, if you want to protect your soul, just tap our profile to join our lives every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, and it is protection for your soul. Truly,
We protect you.
you will learn to protect your soul in the show. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
all
This is true.
That's all I'm saying. Now, 4. I tore him a new one and yelled at him nonstop for like 4 hours. That is 3 hours and 59 minutes longer than than he can last. I just don't know if he actually understands what he did. I seriously do not care about the spicy sleep, the spicy texting, any of it. If he had just told me about it.
Literally,
Bro,
communication.
Communication.
Fumbled the bag.
Fumbled it. Fumbled the bag.
Number 5. We, my friends and I, have 100,000% trust in each other. If he let them know I'm sick, they wouldn't even ask me directly. They would just start making me soups and teas.
Aw.
W friends.
W friends.
Oh, friends you can bang and hang with. That's what
Bang
Opie's
and
got with
hang.
them. He kept reassuring her and letting her know that I was okay and aware. I was not.
Why are you lying?
Why you always lying?
Why are you always lying?
If there's anything else, I will update probably. Thank you all for your responses. We already had discussed this amongst friends, minus him, and mentioned most of the things that were commented below. But this is very soothing/calming to be able to see outsiders' opinions that match what I am feeling. I hope you all have a good night/day. And that is all.
Wow.
That's all.
Now
That's all she wrote.
we don't know what exactly happens to him,
No.
but
Doghouse.
divorce.
Divorce.
Just
Divorce.
Get him outta
Bye-bye. I don't want to see you ever again.
cut it out.
Cut it out.
Speaking of cutting things out,
We're
I might
cutting
have.
you out.
We're cutting the people out
Aw.
and me.
And
Well, this
you.
is the end of the episode, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if
Let
you
me-
love us, make sure to subscribe.
we love you.
And
see you tomorrow. No, I'm leaving. Okay.
Bye, John. Love you.
I've given my man-child husband so many chances. I think it's time to finally move on.
Move.
As the title says, I have to have a very difficult conversation with my husband, and I'm just not sure of the best approach. He is someone who thinks he's always right. He also has ADHD and as a result, RSD.
Rejection sensitivity disorder.
You learn something every day. Rejection sensitivity disorder.
Which
So
usually goes hand with ADHD.
Oh,
Just like you,
interesting.
very sensitive to rejection, as the name implies.
Interesting. I've never heard of this connection.
Maybe it's me too.
So he completely shuts down and overreacts majorly to any criticism. Part of what makes this difficult is that he's absolutely infuriating to bring up issues to, so I often don't. And by this way, this comes from SavL12 on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So it always confuses me when someone's like, oh, yeah, my partner has no room to have an argument or to have a healthy conflict. And I'm like, how do you have a healthy relationship?
Yeah,
then?
exactly. You can't have a healthy relationship if you can't have healthy communication.
Agreed. So that makes me sad when I hear that. But for example, when I've tried to bring up our huge household labor gap, he'll get mad, roll his eyes, and then oversimplify to do more housework and don't expect any direction. Cool? And be done with it. He's very immature and unfortunately did not experience any form of healthy relationships or communication in his childhood. And it shows. He tends to overvalue his role and is not open to criticism as mentioned. Since it sucks so bad to talk to him about anything, I typically keep my gripes to myself. This is not insulting, but this does not sound like
Not
a good
not healthy.
relationship.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's happy to nitpick and gripe about anything, and if I try to give my side, he calls it an excuse, says I'm gaslighting him, etc. It's just ridiculous, but I refuse to let this one go. Over the weekend, he brought up our lack of intimacy, physical touch, and overall general lovingness. He's not wrong. I'm completely turned off and resentful towards him, but I've been for a while, which I'll get into.
Well, it's because, I mean, it seems like you have a lot of other problems going on in this relationship.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that if you are at a point where you're like, I'm trying to have a conversation with him and he just refuses to, you know, meet me in that space, then it's time to maybe end the relationship.
Yeah. The spicy sleep life is usually a representation of the relationship.
If that is a part of your relationship.
Yeah. It's like a symptom instead of like something that is usually like the cause.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I think so.
So he's not wrong. I'm completely turned off and resentful towards him. I have been for a while, which I'll get into, but I hate any kissing and hugging and can't find a kind word to offer up.
I think to him.
I'm not very outwardly loving. We've had a rough go of things for years. I felt like he was my rock and my best friend for a long time. We met when I was a single mom of 2, and he was a big support system to me in many ways. We went through a recurrent loss and infertility situation for a bit before having our child together, and I don't know if I've had made it without him. There was some infidelity on his end during the pregnancy and our daughter's first few months. He lied about and hid a gambling addiction.
Oh my goodness.
We worked through, but I'm not sure I really fully moved on. So the infidelity was the gambling addiction? There was also like
both. There was
cheating.
2 things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. He also just isn't an active partner at all. He goes to work and comes home to play video games, and that's it. He does take toddler to and from daycare, but everything is on me. I'm not exaggerating when I say he gets up in the morning, gets dressed, takes kid to daycare, works, picks kid up, and comes home to immediately plop down on the couch or at his desk. All right, I'm just going to say it here. This is not a relationship.
No.
This is not a romantic
You're roommates
relationship.
now at this point.
You are roommates
Who don't like each other.
you're cohabitating
Yeah.
and you're co-parenting. But
Yes.
other than that, it seems like there isn't a relationship.
There's not a relationship to save at this point.
You would have. It seems like if you wanted a relationship with them, you need to start from like ground zero
Yeah, like
and
you're
like
not living together. or
create
something.
a
Yes.
relationship with this person because
Yeah.
there isn't right now.
Yeah.
So 100% of the housework, invisible labor, mental load, and raising the children is on me. He plays with the kids sometimes, and after a lot of complaining from me, has started staying home alone with our daughter when she's in bed, so I could grab drinks with my friends on occasion, while the older 2 are with dad. He also has tried to attend more outings with the family, but does not contribute to any actual house adult parenting tasks. As you can imagine, being left to handle 100% of everything while also working full-time, while he spends his days sleeping in and playing video games, doesn't make me very happy. Loving. I just feel like he has no respect or regard for me at all and treats me more like a house elf than a partner. Because you guys kind of aren't really partners.
No, he's just expecting you to take care of the kid and take care of the house.
Mm-hmm. He constantly is asking me to wait on him, find his things, grab him a drink, serve him dinner at his desk, etc. I was taken aback this weekend when he threw out that he'd get a divorce if I didn't improve my attitude.
Take him up on it. Take
Get
him up
out.
on it.
Just get out.
Like,
Yeah, now he's
He-
just casually throwing out divorce.
Yeah.
threatening with you, threatening
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
with it.
To improve your attitude,
Yeah. Super
there's
controlling.
nothing there left.
Yeah, the only thing that seems to be there to be saved is the children.
The children, yes.
But
It's
in
your relationship.
terms of your
with
relationship,
children.
it doesn't seem there's one positive thing to save.
No.
At this point, I'm not particularly opposed to divorcing, but I like it to work out and get back to the times we had before. I'm not one to stay for the kids, but I really would like to at least say I gave our marriage my best shot. When he brought this up, I was angry at his audacity to even complain when his whole life is handed to him on a platter by me. He wouldn't even know what toilet paper to buy or where our daughter's clothes are, and he wants to complain about anything. But he refused to hear me out, said the entirety of our relationship problems are my fault because I don't ask for help, which is BS. And anytime I tried to say anything, he dominated the conversation, said he makes all the effort to do better while I make none. I'm certain he knows better, but is trying to make me think I'm the wrong. I'm also certain he thinks he's contributing much more than he is. So I'm giving it one last conversation for him to come to his senses. As is probably obvious, he's in delusional man-child land right now. I plan to sit him down, talk about everything I do, why I'm so angry and resentful, have a list of my tasks so we could sort out what he's going to take on, and give him the opportunity to acknowledge why his complaint and expectations are totally absurd and unfair. My goal is to lay everything out and let him sort out for himself if he's up for the challenge of actually being an adult and partner, or if he'd rather go for the divorce. For what it's worth, I've complained plenty that he doesn't help, but never had to sit down about what I do and gave him the option to grow up, or he's done. Okay, I can tell you right now, that will go awful.
Yeah.
I understand the desire to do that, to be seen by your partner in all that you do and all the tasks you do.
But if he can't see that now, he's not going to see it.
He's not going to.
And he doesn't want to see it.
And someone who you're saying has no capacity to see, to have self-awareness or to take on other people's perspectives in conflict, like to come at him with anger and demands and blame is just going to make him even more defensive, which is going to make him blaming of you, and then it's just going to bring things down. I don't think what is needed is one conversation to fix everything. I think what is needed is a conversation to say, do we want to be in this relationship together or not? And if we do want to be in this relationship, not out of a sense of obligation, but out of a sense for care and love and compassion, we were best friends at one point, and we loved each other at one point. Like, this is what a relationship that would feel good to me looks like. What would a relationship that feels good for you look like? And do we have the energy in order to create this relationship together?
Yeah.
And if not, then there's a conversation about going separate ways.
Yeah. But I also think that, you've seen his response to these types of conversations where you brought up what you need and what needs to change, and it doesn't seem like he's receptive. So if you try to have this last final conversation, I just also think you have to know, like, that was the last chance. You have to, at a certain point, move on for your own, mental health and for your own ability to be a good parent, because you can't, I think it's really hard to be a good parent in a situation like this. Well,
I'm confident I'm not wrong here, and I think anyone would agree with me. I have every right to be as straightforward as I'd like. I think it's also obvious that by jumping in on him with an attack is not going to do anyone any good. But if you want to do a lot of good, you could join us live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch every weekday at 3 p.m. live PST.
Just tap a profile.
There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. I think we discussed.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts?
I don't have any other thoughts.
All right.
Just want to hear.
I do know it's going to be hard regardless, but I'm hoping for suggestions. I'm not good at confrontation or talking about my feelings. He's not good at receiving criticism. It's not a good match.
No. No, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
It isn't working out.
Yeah. Is a message better so he could read and think about his response? Is face-to-face better so we can understand tone? Do I tell him this is me asking for help? Or do I just tell him I'm taking the opportunity to be transparent, that there will be no change in my demeanor until there's a change in his? Do I maybe keep it unrelated to our talk on the weekend and focus more about the lack of respect, my need for a partner / more support? Is there a certain way to word things that are better for people with RSD? I've heard about using I statements, but I'm not really sure what that means. Has anyone had any luck salvaging a marriage from this? Is there hope he'll open his eyes here?
I honestly still don't think this marriage can be salvaged.
I agree.
But I think that there is hope to maybe salvage co-parenting. That is where we're at. Yeah. But that is the end of that story.
I've been secretly planning to divorce my husband for years. He just won't change.
That's not plan A or B or C. That's plan D.
For divorce.
For divorce.
My husband, 27 male, and I, 29 female, have been married for 7 years this year. We have 2 little girls, 7 and 1, as well as 2 pets we treat as our children, a cat and a dog. It all started after I found out I was pregnant. By the way, this comes from Winter Freedom 6229 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So he was messaging another girl who was calling him babe, but wasn't putting up boundaries, saying she's just a best friend. I was fine with her being a friend, and I just asked for boundaries and for a place to send her baby shower invite since we were having a co-ed baby shower. He refused and promptly cut off contact. After the birth of our oldest, I found Facebook messages to this girl saying he missed her and wanted to be with her. After she congratulated him in a very platonic manner on the birth of his first child. He also had many pictures pictures of female friends in his phone for inspiration. Not even dirty pictures, just pictures from social media. He didn't think this was wrong, but later admitted there was wrongdoing from him, but promised it would never happen again. Fine. I got pissy being young. I was 23. He was 21 at the time. He began drinking heavily at this point. He wasn't violent wasted, but he was stupid. Remember this for later. Finally, we get our own place. After living with his sister or my parents off and on for 4 years, he gets wasted and messages the same girl from before that he is unhappy in his marriage and wishes he was with her. Now, they were never more than friends ever. She didn't see him that way, ever. She told me this at a later date because, as it turns out, she was trying to talk this wasted through why he feels this way and how he can repair the marriage. Shout out to Elena. She's a girl's girl. He confessed, and eventually we decided to move on from it. But at this time, I finally told my friends what he's been doing. So all this was in secret.
Oh.
And they had been encouraging me to leave him, which you should.
Good friends.
Even finding guy friends to fake me cheating with so I could leave. Husband found out, hates my friends again, and we decided to move on from there. After these events in October 2022, I decided to stop drinking entirely. I still rarely drink, and if I do, it's one drink after dinner. A little
It's
red wine.
nice and refined.
Yes. During this time, I also started talking to an ex who moved to another country. It started platonically, but it turned to more. So I decided to cut it off. A month later, I'm pregnant with baby number 2. This is the 1-year-old. Husband did not know at the time about the other guy, this guy that she was platonic with. Let's call other guy Tommy. Hold this thought. We moved in with my parents for a month, waiting on our new apartment. I wake up one night after he got insanely wasted to see he created a fake social media page and downloaded a texting app to message my mom.
Oh, going straight to the source.
I mean, at least he has a type, you know?
Keeping it in the family.
Keeping it in the family, you
Is
know.
that polite?
He loves some
Yeah.
attributes of you so much, he just wants to go upstream. So, for context, my parents are open swingers.
Oh my God.
They have been since I was at least 13, and I have met their partners through the years. They're all nice. Only one was kind of creepy, but it was just his looks. He's cool. Back to the story.
It's unbelievable.
My parents are open swingers, and my mom will do guys without my dad there. So this was extra weird. We already signed the new lease at this point. We agreed that if anything new happens, we'll get a divorce because this clearly isn't working if we keep hurting each other. Well, a month after moving in, he found the messages with Tommy. I told him it was wrong of me, absolutely, but it was long enough ago now I forgot it happened, but he had every right to be mad. We moved on from this too since it was before we signed a new lease. Now in August in 2023, I found pictures of my mom and her friends on his phone in a folder. Worst of all, they weren't pictures sent to him. He got them off my parents' computer when he was there working on his car alone. I was beside myself. I couldn't believe my husband wants my mom that bad. I asked if he had mommy issues considering he lost his mom. I asked him if he wanted separation because this keeps coming up. I was his first everything and he was 18 when we first started talking and eventually dating. He swore, no, not at all. Previously, his indecisions were when he was wasted. Not an excuse, but still. But this one, taking my mom's pictures from her computer, he was sober.
So I'm going to clear this up really quick for all the people, especially like this. It's like he gets stupid when he's drunk. He actually doesn't, because people don't lose intelligence when they drink. What they lose is inhibition. He's aware of the consequences of his actions, and he's aware of what he's saying and what he feels. He just doesn't care about the consequences anymore.
We were tied to the lease now until December 2024 because we were stupid and re-signed early. So August 2023, found the pictures over a year in the lease to go. I said, screw it. We will deal with it for now. But the pictures came back in January 2024. He can't explain how they're back. As of January 2024, husband started drinking 12 packs 4 to 7 days a week. One morning in April 2024, I woke up frustrated with my oldest and yelled at her for making a mess before she had to go to school. When I say yelled, I scolded her. It wasn't wasn't screaming. She told me the mess was from husband, the previous night. So as I apologized for raising my voice, husband starts screaming at me for blaming the 7-year-old.
Scream at yourself, husband.
I see husband close up and he's clearly still intoxicated, bloodshot eyes, and smells of booze. I told him to lower his voice because he was screaming at me in front of both kids. And that wasn't okay. I told him I would take the baby to daycare. And when I went to get dressed, he took off with the baby. I was sobbing, worried, and I saw her checked in on the daycare app. The oldest was sobbing because daddy screamed at mommy. It was bad enough the school called that afternoon and tell me the oldest was having big feelings about it. But earlier that day, I finally took my friend's advice and called a divorce lawyer. Plan D in action.
God.
About time. It would be about $1,700, but that's how much we owe to the IRS now. So it's going to have to wait. When husband got home that day, he apologized, and I told him I called a divorce lawyer and I was serious. We never really talked about this moving forward because he didn't have anything to say about it. Every answer was, I really don't know why I did that. He helps me, of course, with the bills, but when I ask, sometimes double ask. He's a good dad, but he frustrates me with how he talks to the girls, like telling my oldest she had an older sister who was lost because she wouldn't hold our hand in the parking lot, and thinking her reaction is funny. So now we're looking for a new apartment, but the finances usually come down to me. All the bills are paid out of my account. He's on my account, but doesn't know how to get in it. I'm actually looking into a place I can afford on my own, so after we move, I can file for divorce. I finally told my mom everything, and while at first she was against us divorcing, she understands why and how he pushed the line, and in her version, comforted me, told me I don't do men who don't have permissions from their wives. But if you gave me permission...
Mom's got standards.
You told me.
What? And husband is too young for me anyway.
I feel like that's not the moment to make it about you, though, as the mom. Where you're like, I mean, don't worry, because I would never. I mean, here's my rules. It's like, I'm not asking you for your sweeter rules, Mom. I need support in this moment. I'm telling you, which it basically sounds like this is like a secret she keeps to herself, and nobody knows that this is what her home life is like.
Yeah, well, at
She's
least
like, I finally told my mom everything. It's like nobody knows her story.
Am I the a-hole for secretly still planning to divorce my husband? I want everyone to respond to the fact that every weekday we go live 3 p.m. PST on Facebook and YouTube, probably live right now. So come join. But there's another relevant update. But is OP the a-hole here?
No, you are not.
You are not.
There's no way you could be.
But we got a little bit more to the story. So edit, I'll be going to therapy session number 5 this week. I took a loan out of my 401k, paid all outstanding bills in our names, and now I'm ready to move. My lawyer has sent me paperwork, also going low to no contact with my parents, as they both agree that since I've talked to husband and he wants to change, I should keep an open mind. It's not like he hits me or the girls when he's wasted. But both agree that since I've talked to husband and he wants to change, I should keep an open mind. It's not like he hits me or the girls when he's wasted. So I might even move out of the state. Who knows? But it won't be with any of them. There is another edit. I finally said my piece and acknowledged the problems I brought to my life, and also acknowledged how I have stayed complacent with this ish, which I think is completely, you have. I mean, I think that's a good thing to recognize.
Self-awareness.
I'm working on my codependency issues and setting up better, more firm boundaries with all relationships? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, dude.
Do that.
Now
But
you're on the right track.
But also, like, when you have such terrible relationships all around you, like your family's terrible, your partner's terrible, maybe your friends are not good too, like you don't really have any point of reference to understand what good relationships look like.
Yeah, that seems like an accurate depiction, especially after the parents being like, oh, he said he wants to change, which is not the same thing as changing, by the way. That's not what that is. I can say I want to change right now, but until I do something about it, I'm not changing. And then she's like, yeah, well, even though he's like wasted all the time, what? It's not like, well, come on. It's like,
he's a fun drunk, you know?
Yeah.
He goes and hacks on my computer and gives my little pictures a little like,
and he drives around drunk with your kids. Well, that sounds like a real winner to me.
Yeah, he stays within the lines most of the time.
Yeah.
You know?
He squints.
He squints.
Yeah,
he drives slow.
Unacceptable. So you're definitely going to have to find your support system outside of your parents. I just found out my husband fabricated an entire life. Can I get an annulment And how do I get him out? I met my husband 4 years ago, just before moving from Pennsylvania to Georgia. Shortly after my move, he followed me and we fell in love. We lived together from 2015 onward, and in mid-November 2018, we married.
Okay.
By the way, this comes from user PopRocks241 on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, today I discovered that virtually everything he has ever told me or demonstrated about his life was a complete fabrication.
Oh no. Please don't be a stalker story.
From specific medical issues to jobs, past and present, to education, to family relationships, to the claim that his first language was not English, to phone conversations that never happened, to people he knows, to, if you can think it, he has lied about it. We live together, but my name is on the lease, and I hold the title on both of our cars. He has some belongings in our home, but most of it has been purchased with money that I have earned over our 4 years together, plus money from my personal savings account. I am totally open to letting him walk off with all of his stuff and even signing the older car to him. After a quick internet search, it looks like I might have grounds for annulment of my marriage on the basis of being seriously misled. Do I? What will I need to be able to prove in order to make it work? And is there anything else I need to keep in mind to aim for an annulment instead of a divorce?
Okay. Lawyers in the chat, get to work.
Yeah, lawyers, time for some pro bono work. Let's go. Take this as a challenge. He is mentally ill, though quite differently than I was led to believe, and receives SSDI each month, but that is nowhere near enough for him to live on. What is the legal way to get him out of my house and life with minimal risk, damage, and cost to me? Also, do I look for a divorce lawyer in this situation? Sorry if that's a dumb question. Also, how does custody of pets work? We have 2 kittens we got in July, and I can't imagine separating them. I also can't imagine him being able to take care of them once we're separated, but I don't know if that matters. I've had a bunch of questions about what specifically the man in question lied about. Here is a partial list. That he went to school in Britain, met his ex-wife there, and lived there for about 20 years before returning to the US. That he went to the bank and tried to close out our joint account, but couldn't do it because he wasn't an authorized signer on the account. Full list of emergency medical information, including doctors' names and phone numbers, and a list of medications that he wasn't on. That his grown kids stole about $2,000 from him and kicked him out of his own house. That he'd managed to scrape together enough money to buy a house, but then his property tax increased and he ended up losing the house in a totally unfair turn of events. Yeah, he'd messed up so egregiously with his family's finances that his ex-wife ended up losing the home that she grew up in.
Oh my god. It doesn't sound like things are happening to him. It just sounds like he doesn't have his stuff together.
Yeah, nothing's happening to him. He is the thing that happens.
He is
a
the thing that
tornado.
happens.
He is a hurricane. He's an earthquake. He's a category 5 natural disaster. That his father had abused him horribly as a kid, and that his mom had stood by and let it happen. Lie. That his aunt and uncle were the only relatives who'd really cared for him, and that his uncle had passed away suddenly of a heart attack right before we really got serious. His uncle is still alive and well, by the way. That he'd been in Berlin when the wall came down. That's a weird flex. That he was harassed at the grocery store by some random lady that didn't like the way he looked. That he grew up speaking Polish as a first language. That he walked and talked in his sleep in his first language, Polish, as a side effect of the medication that he wasn't on. That his dad was a woodworker and was making furniture for us. That his brother worked for DARPA. That his aunt was a nun. That a nurse at the hospital had told him some things about my dad's case that we needed to attend to. And that he had a specific job with a host of people he worked with on a regular basis. And all the stories he told me on a nearly daily basis about those people were all lies. That his boss had bought him a fancy new watch he had on his wrist. That Mr. Park, the camera repair guy, did work on his cameras for free or at a discount. Countless lies about money spent on or refunds unavailable for all kinds of reasons. That his counselor had actually said exactly what I said when they talked about it too. This happened over and over again. That he was bipolar and borderline schizophrenic, but well controlled and committed to taking his meds. That he was feeling down at a given time. That he'd posted a sign at work to collect donations for a cause I cared about, and now the only problem was finding a truck big enough to transport it. All this was the lie that led to the end. That he had medical insurance, that he broke down on the highway, that he looked for blah 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 blah. He's a liar. He's a serial liar. He's a complete serial liar.
That is so crazy. How did you not know? How did you have to get married to him for him to figure out this stuff? I cannot believe that.
Here's the update. It's been a little bit over a year since I turned to this community as my life fell rather dramatically into pieces around me. My original post didn't get a ton of attention, but the replies I received helped me tremendously, and seeing where I am a year later may also provide some hope for those going through their own crisis. In particular, you helped me construct my initial list of immediate to-do items and put me on the right track to figure out how to extricate myself from the relationship. The day I first posted here was the day I found out that my then husband had lied and fabricated most of what I knew about him. Other things I did that day included teaching a class of 200 undergrads about 15 minutes after I found out for sure, and kicking off a day-and-a-half-long job interview for the next stage of my career, a job which I somehow landed. What unfolded over the following 3 months can really only be described as living my way through my own version of a Lifetime movie. At some point, I moved to an extended stay hotel, and as time passed, I learned about the depths and breadths of the lies and deceit he'd used to both control me and get what he wanted, and the lengths that he'd go to try and get his grip back on what he'd successfully manipulated his way through for about 4 years. What I know now, and what I'm kind of glad I didn't know then, was that I wasn't actually as safe with him as I thought I was. So I'm thankful I managed to get out with only psychological, emotional, and financial burdens and nothing physical. About 2.5 months later, I successfully had my marriage annulled on the basis of fraudulent coercion to marry. I ended up doing the necessary research and filing the paperwork myself, which was not an easy task, but was both cheaper and faster than it was going to be if I hired a lawyer. A few weeks after the annulment, I moved my belongings out of our apartment and moved new city and my new job.
Okay.
Without him, but with the kittens. As of late June, I finally had him convinced that contacting me was pointless because he wasn't getting me back.
Okay.
Dude, it just got better.
W's upon W's.
And so I've largely been free to recover from the trauma and crisis mode I lived in for about 3 months.
Dude, how did she pull this off? This has been the best annulment I have ever seen in the history of Reddit.
She got out of there and she took the kittens with her. You know where I want you to be not getting out of? Our stream. When we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap our profile and you're in. And if you're watching this in the future, you could go check right now, but don't, because we're almost done with this story. And then after that, you can go see it for live. We never really learned how she came to know that all of these lies were being lied to her.
Yeah, I'm confused too.
So, I mean, but, you know, she's probably doing it in the interest of, like, anonymity or, you know, or trying to keep other people out of it because, like she said, it's like, it sounds like he was also lying about not being a dangerous individual.
Yeah.
When you get someone who can lie like this, like, you really don't know what they're capable of.
You really don't. And I'm so surprised she got out of this like this and no other repercussions.
She did it all right. She got the annulment. She got the kittens. She has her safety. He's like over it. He's like, well, I can't do anything about it. Honestly, huge W for OP. Sorry that you had to be with this guy for 4 years. It's probably a big weight lifted off of your shoulders now. One of the things I've learned from all of this is how incredibly difficult it is to get out of a relationship in a situation like this. Besides the obvious difficulty of navigating the legal system and the cost associated with it, there's the cognitive dissonance of constantly trying to remember to relate to the other person in light of the new information you found out about them. It really and truly took every life skill and tremendous support of my family and friends network to get out in more or less one piece. And even still, the road to recovery and a return to thriving is a long one. So thanks to those who helped me back on this terrible day in January 2019. And if you know someone who is going through something like this, please offer whatever you can in support because they definitely need it. And that is the end of that story. Good job.
Wow.
Great job, OP.
Great job. This guy get a brain tumor? I don't even know. That's the end of that story.
That is the end of that story.
I am divorcing my husband even after his cancer diagnosis.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
That the title sounds really bad, but please hear me out. I am new on Reddit. This is my first post, and English is not my first language. So this will be a long one, and I'll try to explain everything as good and short as I can. I, 42-year-old female, am married to my husband, 49-year-old male, for almost 12 years. We met online and soon started dating. He did everything for me. We texted every day because we had a long-distance relationship and saw each other on weekends. He came to me because I have no driving license and no car and still don't have that. Depending how far it was, that was a lot for him to go see every single time. By the way, this comes from U-Karma Service Turtle on the r-OK Storytime subreddit. So he has long hair, blue eyes, and best of all, 2 cats. Long story short, I fell in love and he proposed to me after 3 months.
Whoa. See,
so early.
That's the thing. Sometimes you go really quick and then you find out down the line that they're not who you thought they were.
You start off really quick and then you end really quick.
Unfortunately.
That should have been the first red flag, but I didn't know any better at the time about love bombing. We got engaged and I moved to his city. He introduced me to his friends and everyone welcomed me very nice. My mother-in-law at the first time we met said, "Just call me mom." And I really liked her. She was always nice and kind to me, and so were his sister, his niece, and my brother-in-law. Over a year after our engagement, we got married. I was so proud to have his last name, and he was happy with me, or so I thought. One of his friends, Miranda, fake name, was really good at crocheting, and she had her own blog, or still has, I don't know. We were also friends on social media at the time. Then my grandma passed away. I was devastated. She had dementia and was not in a good condition. She passed away shortly after my birthday and was buried only 2 days before Christmas. Christmas is my very favorite time of the year.
That's really hard.
At that time, I was married for 2.5 years. I posted on social media about the loss of my grandma. Miranda saw the post and condolenced me, but shortly after, she contacted my husband and told him that she didn't think that this was appropriate and how dare I do something like that, etc.
What?
Okay, so one of his friends was like, saw the post about OP's grandma, was like, this is inappropriate.
About her what?
Yeah, OP posted about her grandma passing
I was
away.
just like, how dare she?
And the friend was like, reached out to OP's husband and was like, how dare your wife?
And he agreed?
And he agreed. I did not understand that because Miranda had written about one of her grandparents passing away on her blog around the same time. I think it was like, only one of us can talk about our passing away grandparent. In their messages, both of them ranted about me. At that time, I didn't know anything about that, but his phone rang and rang and rang, so I wanted to know who he was talking with. I demanded to tell me what was going on. He showed me the messages between him and Miranda. I was furious. They had not only been ranting about me, they also made jokes about my situation.
They're like, oh, OP's grandma's passed away.
That's so
Oh,
embarrassing.
loser. Who are these like cartoon villains?
Literally. I told him to cut all contact with Miranda or I would divorce him, ultimatum here, and that he needs to apologize to me for his really bad behavior and how dare he making fun of me and my grandma's passing away. So he deleted her number. It took a month for me to forgive him and to move on. How could you move on if you don't understand? That's why I don't think it's like, I'm going to punish him. I'm going to cut this person off.
You put a Band-Aid over it, but it's still festering.
You put a Band-Aid and you have a wound. It's still festering and you don't know why.
Yeah.
So you don't trust your partner.
Mm-hmm. You haven't solved anything.
Yeah. Second red flag, a big one, I know. Now, I should have left him right then and there. Fast forward a few years, I cut all contact to my family. I only have my sister now, who I love so dearly because of issues that got more and more over the years. It was better for me and my husband agreed. My sister and I have always been targets for my mother, and enough was enough, worth a complete separate post. So 4 years after my grandma's passing away, my grandpa passed away.
Oh,
This is so sad.
yeah.
I loved him so much. We regularly called each other, and whenever he went on a small vacation, he sent me postcards. One day I got a call from my oldest brother, and he told me after my grandfather passed away at the hospital, that day, after heart surgery and after a week, they decided to stop the life support machines because my grandpa would have passed away anyway. I didn't even know that he was in the hospital. No one had told me or my sister. I can't describe how I felt, and I had to call my sister to tell her what had just happened. We both cried on the phone. My mother decided to set the date for the funeral on my 6th wedding anniversary. It was a Saturday, and I guess she took that date so everyone could attend and not have to take a day off work, so I tried not to hold that against her. I asked my husband, after all my mother had done to me, to please stand by me and comfort me. He said yes, of course. First thing he did at the funeral was to hug my mother tight, and during the funeral not even bothered to take my hand or comfort me. Is this after the Miranda situation?
Yeah, this is after the Miranda. This is 4 years after the Miranda
4
situation.
years
And it seems
after.
like they haven't fixed anything, really.
OP said my husband didn't even take my hand or comfort me, but my sister did. Third massive red flag here. But I did not even recognize it at first because it was so sad, and my sister was there for me. Fast forward to August 2022. This is getting important for later. A warm August Saturday morning around 9 a.m. I got a call from my friend Sandra. I picked up the phone and said hi and laughed because I was happy to hear from her. She had 2 little kids and a mom that required care, so I not often got the chance to talk to her, and she lived in another state. But on the phone was not Sandra, it was my sister. I could barely hear her because she was crying very hard. My alarm bells went off and I asked my sister what happened. She told me that Sandra had passed away that morning. She was 39 years old and she had, what, 2 children?
Yeah, she had kids.
I was in shock, complete shock. I won't go into details here, but it was ruled natural passing away. As you can imagine, I started crying and I thought about the kids and the widower. Just, oh my God, no, that can't be real. No, I could start crying right now. It still hurts as if it was just today that it happened.
Aw.
Her funeral was a few weeks later, and my husband and I took a few days off of work to attend the funeral. Everybody was there, also my ex-best friend. We haven't talked to each other for over a year at that time, but I was the one who called her and told her about Sandra's passing. We are in contact again since then. Okay, the funeral. My husband decided to not sit next to me during the funeral. Yes, you read that right. And not comfort me.
I don't get that. I don't understand what the reasoning is.
At this point, does your husband hate you?
Yeah.
Or is he just so uncomfortable with
Like
death,
showing,
with
yeah.
passing away,
Yeah.
and doesn't know
How to comfort people.
comfort his wife?
Because this is insane. This is insane behavior to not once, but 2 times at actually
3. This is
3
the third
times.
time.
This is the 3rd time not be able to comfort someone who is mourning.
Home again, I asked him why he didn't comfort me again. He told me that I am a grown-up woman and I have to deal with it on my own and that I'm not his priority. As you can imagine, I cried every freaking single night, and he had the audacity to tell me, end quote, yes, I heard you crying, end quote, and didn't do anything. What a piece of crap. Now here comes the kicker. One day before or one day after the funeral, he exchanged numbers with another woman I didn't know. 9 months later, I caught wind of it because his phone rang very often. I asked him who this was and who he was riding with. He stupidly showed me the chat.
Oh wait,
it's
it's
the
not
same
even
thing
stupid.
as
He
the
did the same
beginning.
thing.
Oh, and he's just like,
He's like, here you go.
There.
He doesn't care. The thing is that we've seen multiple times. It seems like OP's like, oh, like he's doing this and like doesn't realize, or he's like trying to hide it. No,
it seems like he just doesn't care.
he doesn't care
just
about
like-
you at all.
So, like giving pain left and right. And
He's
it's
like,
big
whatever.
what?
You don't deserve to be comforted. I'm cheating. What of it?
What of it? Sue me. He and Tessa, fake name, met during the days of the funeral, and his first words in the chat were, quote, "Hi, little one.
Ew.
I finally have your number." I just overflowed the chat, and at one point I read that he complimented her on her beautiful hair. You need to know that my hair started falling out massively after I got the news of Sandra's death. Because of the shock, and my husband knew that very well. I went to the doctor to get checked, but everything was okay. It was definitely because of the shock. He comforted her because of some stress with her boyfriend at the time also. As you could imagine, I went ballistic. Not even that he told me I'm a grown-up woman who needs to deal with the death of my beloved friend on my own. I'm not his priority. No, he thought it was a really good idea to give some B his number and comfort her because some relationship issues. I mean, what the F? And I asked him why he comforted her and not me. He answered, quote, "She had a bad time and needed help." Yup, he really said that right into my face. Guess what happened? I slapped him hard. Gah! I was so devastated and angry. How could he do something like that to me? I never had any suspicion of what he was capable of doing something like that. I always trusted him completely. What a fool I was. No, you just trust your partner.
Yeah.
As you should. Trust a partner, not this partner.
Not
but
this
a
partner.
partner.
Please don't trust this partner.
Don't trust this one. And again, I should have left him there and then again, but I didn't. Tessa lived a few states away, so I could be sure that nothing physical ever happened between them, but it was still a betrayal. He swore to never ever give his number to another woman and to ask me if he would met some new friends if it would be okay if numbers would be exchanged. In January this year, he went to rehab because of some back pain issues. During that time, we had not much contact because divorce is on the table since December 2023, but we wanted to work things out. I hear you asking, why didn't you leave him earlier? Why did you stay so long? I married him because I love him. I gave my word to stay in good times and bad times, and I don't take that easy. I wanted to grow old with him. I could picture us sitting on the sofa watching the movies we like, laughing at old jokes, and cuddling. telling. Boy, was I wrong.
I wonder really quick if OP is from like a religious background because of this like pretty steadfast refusal to divorce or like hesitancy to divorce.
I think it's possible, and I also just think that's the narrative that is given to most Western cultures around like this romantic fairy tale of you're going to be with one person for the rest of your life through everything. And then when people are mistreated, this narrative is so
that you
not
have to stay
serving
together,
because it locks people into situations that harm them.
Yeah.
Anywho, after 3 weeks of rehab, he came home. We haven't talked much during his rehab, but we were friendly with each other. Everything seemed normal. After an hour of his return, he started getting angry. He said I had blocked him on WhatsApp and everything. I was taken aback. What? We just texted the day before. What is happening here? I asked him straight if he had exchanged numbers with some woman again. He said, quote, no, just with men that were in his rehab group. His phone again started to ring very often, and you know what is coming next. Of course, I got suspicious. He told me it was eBay.
What? It's like, hey, it's eBay. Just wanted to link up.
Just wanted to kiss your little face.
Yeah.
He's like, it's Domino's, babe. Chill.
eBay said they
pizza
love
man.
me.
Aw, that's so sweet of this company. Haha, do you really think I'm that stupid? So I waited, and one day he took out the trash. I got his phone and went through his WhatsApp messages, and there it was, a chat with Cindy, fake name, in which he told her that he's asking me about my feelings and that he is the one making all compromises and so on and so on. I said nothing. A few days later in the afternoon, his phone again rang all the time. But this time I told him, I know it's not eBay. And he said, fine. It's Walmart. You got
me.
You got me. I told him to show me his phone. And there, another woman with him about butt massages. We had really big fights about all of that, and I cried like I never cried before. He did not even bother to apologize. He said they were just friends. Classic, right? I may have been naive, but I'm not stupid. 1 week later, he let me go through his phone again. This guy is like, just like, ballsy.
I literally don't care.
He's like, yeah, literally. He's like, and you will not believe whom he was texting with. I found one name I didn't recognize and looked into the chat. I scrolled and scrolled and up. You remember the name Miranda? Yes. On top of that chat, I saw her name. 1 year after my grandma passed, she had contacted him again. He did not block her like he promised to.
What? He didn't go follow through with his promises?
He didn't. It's the truth.
No
Believe
way.
it. Best believe it.
No way.
He did not block her, so she had the opportunity to contact him. For all these years, he met her, texted her, ranted about me with her, and lied to me for 8 whole years. All in all, I found 7 different women whom he was texting with and lying about me. He told all of them that I was the bad guy in this marriage. 4 years ago, we moved into the flat we're now living in. Now I know why he wanted this flat in this area. Miranda, get this, is living just 2 blocks away.
Right under your nose.
Right under your butt. Great. My trust in him is completely shattered. So much more things have happened over the years with him, and I can only guess that he has a narcissistic personality disorder. Would also be a complete new post to explain that here. I trusted him. I still love him. I tried my best, and we could all agree that it's sure I've made mistakes too. Everybody does, and I'm no exception. We love a self-aware
Your mistake was
OP.
staying with him. That's the only mistake I've seen.
Well, maybe they made mistakes. Didn't write it in.
That's true. It's a biased post.
Yeah. There was no way to get him to act as a husband, to behave with respect, to accept boundaries and respect them. Not to cross the lines, to make compromises, and what really hurts is him bad-mouthing me in front of women I don't even know. Running a smear campaign against me because he got caught. He is now telling everybody that I am the one who did what he did. There's no way in heck I would ever betray someone like that. One thing he also said is that I wasn't there for him when his mom passed away. The audacity.
That's
dude.
rich.
He's a compulsive liar too.
Yeah.
I had the flu with fever and everything, but I still attended my mother-in-law's funeral.
So
So it's a lie.
she was actively sick, and he's like, you weren't there for me 24/7. You didn't make me any soup.
He earns the money and is aware of the fact that I depend on him financially. I try to save money to get out of there. He's a pathological liar. He lies about everything and to everybody. I'm so fed up with this. Now, all right, we're getting to the title.
I forgot the title.
We got to the title.
Okay.
That gave so much context.
Okay.
He's diagnosed with cancer. Some of my friends say it's the karma he was getting for what he has done to me. So here
I
is
didn't
my
wanna say
question.
it.
Would I be the a-hole if I leave him, even though he has cancer and maybe would need help to recover? It's a relatively simple surgery. The cancer will be easy to remove, and he
Leave
won't
him.
need chemo or something. Like,
Leave him.
is this like a skin cancer?
Yeah,
and they're like,
I
it's gonna be 2 hours. You're gonna be back to normal.
I had a friend who had cancer and it just got it removed and it was fortunately fine.
It's common for
Yeah.
like
Very
little,
obviously
little,
very
like, skin
scary.
things to be cancerous.
Yeah, no, so scary, and like anyone who's gone through that, like it is a very scary process. But if you're like, should I stay with my husband who can literally just get this cancerous thing removed and be fine, then don't stay with him.
Doctor is telling you it's a simple surgery. It's gonna be fine.
Leave him. Also, even if
I
he
feel like
wasn't
that's
gonna be fine,
irrelevant
leave
at that
him.
point.
Yeah.
I agree with that too.
Like literally leave him regardless. You don't owe him. He's an adult.
I cry almost every day. That is not me. I'm a person who will always help and be there for the ones I love. He let me cry all alone when my girlfriend passed away, and I confess I let him cry alone when he got his diagnosis. I told him why I want him to not dare crying in front of me. That is harsh, but it is understandable.
Yeah.
If your partner
Also, don't
has
stay with
told you
him.
they don't give an F
Yeah.
about your emotions, it's going to be pretty hard to give an F about their emotions.
But also, like, if this is the only, like, if you're like, I don't care about your emotions, and then you stay together, it's just like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, he told you so long ago he doesn't care about your
Yeah.
emotions.
Like, it's been 8 years.
I gave him the taste of his own medicine, and I also confess I don't regret it. I know that I am not that kind of person. That is not who I want to be any further. I'm ready for your judgment. Thanks for reading, and for the ones among you who are dealing with similar situations, please stay strong. There are people who are loving. There is an update.
I have no judgment other than, like, divorce. That's
Like,
the only advice I can give
It
you.
makes no sense from our context.
Yeah.
Everything you've been given, it makes no sense for either of you to stay in this relationship.
Nope.
All right, update. Why did I not leave earlier? Because only at the last 1.5 years, bad things have and added up drastically. And only 6 months ago, I started to realize that he has a pattern of his behavior. I started looking deeper into questions I had and asked in different groups to maybe tell me what I'm dealing with here. It took me long to realize what he was doing, how he was doing it, and in what situations he did this or that. And by the way, we swear we have happier stories.
We swear.
You just have to join us live on YouTube and Facebook every day at 3 p.m. PST, and we're probably live right now, so just tap our profile.
Go check it.
There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. We already did, unless you have thoughts.
Honestly, yeah, my final thought is you just need to leave.
Divorce.
Divorce.
I'm not one to join the divorce chant, and I'm
Sometimes you
chanting.
gotta.
I'm
Sometimes
chanting
you
right
gotta.
now. All right, my sister now saw what a person he is too. Before I was isolated by him, no one believed me. Now my sister is fighting for me like a lioness. I also told some friends about my situation. I'm searching for help, and I get help. Next week, I will seek help from our social system and contact my lawyer to get the documents for him for spousal support. I know that I have nothing when I leave. I mean nothing. No bed, no fridge, no nothing. But I would rather have nothing than staying in this marriage with a man-child who does nothing but complain about my behavior and treating me like crap. The reason why I asked my question is still because of in good times and bad times. But I see it only counts for his bad times.
Yes. There we go. No, I think it's just knowing that, like,
Oof.
we women have to fight for divorce, and you know it's a right that you should exercise when needed.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
I know. These
You
days.
know.
Yum.
There's
To
something in
when
that?
Sophia
I
just said
didn't
that.
see it.
No, I'm eating a date.
Eating a freaking date.
My mother-in-law's boyfriend caused chaos at my wedding. Someone needs to stop him.
Arrest him. Arrest that man.
My husband and I met when he was in school nearby my hometown. His family lived across the country, and I had only met them twice, maybe before this. His mother was a sweet woman, but needs a lot of care and attention. By the way, this comes from Joy Moon Art on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So she was dating/living with this guy. We'll call him Luke. When we got married. Because husband's family was traveling, Luke decided to accompany mother-in-law to take care of her. Everyone arrived and went to their hotel 3 days before the wedding. At our rehearsal dinner, Luke was very friendly with my then teenage sister.
Ew.
Thought he liked older women. My father was not impressed and proceeded to stick super close to sister for the rest of the evening. Things continued to get more awkward from there. The next day at the church, he awkwardly just kind of wandered in and sat in the front. He was fine through the whole ceremony, but when we were headed to a different location for photos, and because he was driving the majority of the husband's family, we gave him specific directions on how to get there. Not far, just a couple of turns, not bad. Here's the problem. One has to enter the address very specifically because there are 2 streets in the town with the same name, but one is east and the other one is west. So the address we needed to go to was 123W Street, but 123E Street also existed. Guess which one he decided to put in his GPS?
Stupid.
East. We drove for about an hour before finally calling my new husband in a rage because dear husband gave him the wrong address and directions, and they now won't get back to take pictures. Pictures are already over, and so husband tells Luke to just drive to the reception. We arrive at the reception and tell the DJ we are running a bit behind because family got lost. Well, 5 minutes turned into 10, that turned into 15, and we can't wait any longer to do the entry. So we do our introductions, parents, the weddings party, and us. My dad blesses the meal, and these people are still not there.
Where did he drive to?
That's 30 minutes, bro.
This is crazy.
Next thing we know, there is a banging and slamming on the window behind the head table.
God, why you gotta make an entrance?
My bridesmaids all get startled and scream, and the men all get up to defend the perimeter. Oh, wait, nope. It's just Luke pounding on the window because he can't find the front door. Again, this person and his sense of direction.
This man, I have bad sense of direction. It's not that bad. It's not this guy bad.
Oh, yeah, Luke bad. I thought you put it in me. I was
Oh,
like,
no,
whoa,
it's not that bad.
whoa,
No,
now.
Luke bad. Luke bad.
Anyway, someone goes and finds them. They all come piling to the door, and everyone is seated and already eating. Husband had got up to grab something, and the next thing I know, we hear shouting from across the room. Luke is shouting at husband for starting the reception without them and berating him for being disrespectful, inconsiderate son. Son, you are disrespectful. How could you have done this to me?
He's like, I got lost and it's your fault.
Dude, you're just some dude my mom's dating. Like,
Yeah.
you're not my dad.
You're not my dad. That's what you should say.
Husband kept his composure. Major props for that. And asked why it took them so long to get there. Luke says, well, you gave me the wrong address again. We didn't even give him any address. It was on the invitation's website and even out mass text message the morning of. Everyone else found it no problem, and they were on time. This big Einstein brain decided he knew better and input the address himself incorrectly and went the wrong way again, and then blamed us for his Magellan-ass navigational decisions. So Luke is steaming, husband is stewed, and mother-in-law is crying, and nobody is happy. We decided to just move on and eat and put it aside for now.
I would kick Luke out.
We finished our meals and speeches, and now it is time to dance. Luke beelines for my teenage sister and asks her to dance.
Ew.
But she's 18.
Is that true? Or is,
But she's 18, guys.
Is she?
About to turn. She's 18. About to turn.
About to turn.
My dad gets a hustle on and heads him off. Now, let me just pause and say Luke is very tall, beer-bellied, sweaty 70-something-year-old white guy. And he gave us all the ick. So my sister is less than impressed, but this is a big old man, and she is about 14.
Ew. I would be so. The thing is, like, this isn't even a person that he knows. Like, it's not like it's on Opie's husband's side
Yeah.
and it's like someone he's met before. This is a complete stranger, 14-year-old that he keeps trying to interact with. I would be incredibly uncomfortable. Even at, like, I would be uncomfortable if a 70-year-old man was like, let's dance.
Back at my age, you didn't need an age of consent.
I hate this man.
Dad to the rescue. Luke kept trying to dance with the young girls at the reception. They were all freaked out, and finally, I think it was my dad, someone told him to sit down. Luke decided that was enough, and they were going to leave now.
Thank God.
So he packed everyone back into his car, and they took off. So my husband and I finished the party, grabbed our bags, and headed out for a honeymoon, which was great. Wedding was over, story over, right?
Right?
Nope.
No.
We're right past halfway done.
Dang. Luke continues to strike.
A few weeks later, after we moved into our new apartment, we get invited to dinner with Luke and mother-in-law. Luke keeps making passive-aggressive comments to my husband. This continued every time we saw him from then on. One day, we get a frantic call from mother-in-law. Luke's brother passed, and he was leaving to go deal with it, and she was in a panic. Turns out the brother was actually passed by someone else in his own house.
Oh my God.
Mother-in-law flies out with Luke and has a dream about the brother. The brother tells her the password to his computer in her dream. Turns out it was the correct password.
What is going on?
Meanwhile, the husband and I are left to take care of their dog. And we go over there and I decide to be a snoop because there is just something off about Luke and no one can really put a finger on it. Oh, brother, I wish I hadn't. We found all kinds of weird, spicy sleep stuff, books, toys, movies, old school DVDs, found stuff on his computer. It was a major gross. We told mother-in-law all about it.
Okay, I was like, at least it's not child porn.
Yeah, thank goodness.
That's what I was thinking it was going to be.
But she didn't care. This guy was going to take care of her. So yes, of course, she would overlook all the weird stuff. They decided to get married. They planned their wedding so we would share an anniversary. How thoughtful. That is so nice of them. Now, instead of celebrating 2 days, just one big day. I still don't know what that was all about. Anyway, husband and I arrive at their wedding. I head to the bridal room and husband heads to where the guys were getting ready. Guess who isn't there? Luke. Mother-in-law is crying because she thinks she is getting left at the altar. No one can get a hold of Luke and the guests are starting to speculate whether or not Luke will actually show up. About an hour later, he shows up with some lame excuse about how the sprinklers at his house are leaking or something. They're supposed to do that.
They're going on. He's like, there's water coming out of the ground.
The wedding goes fine. The reception is fine. Everything is fine. About a year later, they are moving into a new apartment, and Luke, as they are moving in, says to mother-in-law, I am not attracted to you, and I am not in love with you anymore. The divorce papers are on the counter. He had gone through the divorce proceedings in secret pretty much from the go. And you can go to our live streams every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Where, Sophia?
TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
We're live right now, maybe, so go check it out.
Go double check. Man, oh man. If only anyone could have seen that Luke was a horrible person.
Creepy weirdo.
If only anyone could have seen that this might happen.
Ugh, that was crazy.
He's got a boat full of red flags that he trails behind him, and the mother-in-law was like, oh no, he's perfect for me.
And can we talk about this sub-story, the password in the dream?
That was crazy.
And being right.
The mother-in-law is like psychic? I don't know.
But that, wow. Okay. Hopefully they found something on the computer they could have used to help find the murder.
The password that she had wasn't the one that they found all of the icky stuff on, right?
That was Luke's computer.
Yeah,
She knew the password to his brother's computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was on the brother's computer.
Probably like, I don't know, insert NCIS episode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's finish the story off.
Now it's a mad scramble to find mother-in-law a place to live and figure out what the heck is happening. He's in it for the money, I bet you. Turns out Luke has been cheating on mother-in-law the whole time with a woman in her 20s.
Shocking. The man that was trying to dance with 14-year-olds?
Come to find out that he had actually been married 6 times before mother-in-law. Mother-in-law got a place to live and is doing much better now. Not sure what happened to Luke, but I'm sure he is sliming up someone else. Edit. It was not underage stuff on his computer, but it was just gross adult stuff. Okay, noted. Yeah, that was our question, but my God.
This guy sucks
How
so
did the mother-in-law
much.
not see that?
Well, she seems to have seen it, but was like, oh, I want someone to care for me in my old age at 70, so I'm not going to be picky. And she was like, I'm going to be really not picky. I'll take anyone.
That would make me so uncomfortable if I was with someone and that was there.
Gross, gross, gross. But that is the end of that story.
My mother-in-law caused so much heartbreak, so I didn't tell her that her son had passed. Ooh, this is
You could be
icky.
the a-hole.
Here's the background. I am a 52-year-old woman, and my husband was 54 when he passed. I met him in May of 1998. It was pretty much love at first sight.
Okay.
I was the love of his life. He loved me more than I could have ever expected anyone to love me. By the way, this comes from Ambear72 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. He was living with his mom at the time. I don't know why, but she was very controlling of him. A red flag I didn't pay attention to. She caused a lot of petty drama. Things like getting mad because he wouldn't go home for dinner. He came to see me when he got off work and stayed until 10-ish. In August, things got crazy, so he moved in with me. In 2000, he was in a really bad car accident that should have taken his life. He hit the steering wheel and it severed his aorta.
That's like really bad.
Because of his size and his love for me and my son from my first marriage, he stayed alive. He was in the hospital for over a month. Every weekend his mom would come to visit. She tried to take over his care and tried to make it so that they had to ask her permission to do any type of treatment. We were married. We got married in August of 99, so they weren't able to allow it. She was horrible. One day, my son, who was 5 at the time, was sitting nicely in a chair watching cartoons while we were visiting my husband. Due to his injuries, they had him in a medical-induced coma. Anyway, Karen came in and changed the channel to football. My son got upset and started to cry. He was being really well behaved, and it's hard for a 5-year-old to sit and stay quiet in a hospital. But dude, Tennessee is playing.
I gotta watch the game.
Come on, dude. They're playing. It's preseason.
Who cares if your dad's in the hospital? I'm not
Yeah.
gonna consider your feelings.
Just because he's in a medically induced coma doesn't mean we stop football.
Yeah,
Like,
when he died, you need to learn. You need to grow up, kid.
kid's the a-hole. You know what I got from the story? This kid's an a-hole.
Kid's a problem.
She called him a crybaby.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
5.
Of course, he is a crybaby. And put the TV back on the cartoons. I did tell her that he was watching the TV, and she told me, well, Jeff likes the Raiders, and they're playing today.
Oh, is that
The
the?
husband.
Oh,
Yeah, that guy. I told her that Jeff isn't able to watch TV, and that they would prefer my son to watch TV anyways. She caused so much drama. I swear if she could have had him transferred to the city she lived in, she would have. Fast forward to 2011. Jeff and I were in the process of separating. He was on some medicines that made him mean, hateful, and aggressive. I didn't know it was the medicines that were making him act that way. When we decided to separate, he chose to go back to his mom's while I stayed in our home. We had 4 kids. My first son was now 15, my second 7, and my twin girls 5. We worked things out, but due to some legal issues with some things he had to go to his mom's for, we were on good terms. We were good when he left us. But she took that time that he was there to manipulate him and talk all kinds of crap about me. She was able to convince him to come get the kids on Christmas and not bring them back. She talked to him into pretty much kidnapping the kids. She thought they would be better off with her.
the mother-in-law? She's trying to take your kids?
She's trying to puppeteer
Yeah, him. So
him
that
to take the kids.
Ugh, so manipulative.
I was a stay-at-home mom when all of this went down, and I didn't have much money. I was able to get a full-time job, but it didn't start until February. She even got a lawyer in the town I lived in. She lived 6 hours away. They would get up really early and come to town and not tell me. Take him to his doctor appointments, go see lawyers, and then leave. She would have all the kids call me on the way home and tell me they were just in town and they were sad that they didn't get to see me. So they live 6 hours away and will wake up really early to take them to everything they need to go to.
Wait, sir,
So she took them and kidnapped them, and she can't say anything because she doesn't have enough money to get a lawyer to charge them.
oh my God.
And
oh
since,
my God.
And since they're technically still married,
yeah, it's fine. It's not
fine.
kidnapping because it's with their dad.
long story short, I represented myself when we went to court. I was able to maintain custody and get divorced from Jeff? Represent yourself?
Nice.
I feel like
I mean, it sucks because it seems like Jeff is like the medicine is causing this, but
but still,
no one's side. Like no one's on OP's side right now.
Yeah, I wonder if you could divorce someone with ChatGPT better than a lawyer could. I think we're at that age. If you had an earpiece,
Your Honor, have you considered that 20% of, and then it just goes into like really specific.
data. There is a lot more to this, but for time's sake, I'll end it here. The court hearing was in January. In February, he called me on my birthday and said he missed us and wanted to come back home. He was on new medicines that made him wake up, and he realized how bad things really were, and he was not happy with his mom. He was horrified at everything that had happened, and because he was on the wrong antidepressants, he didn't realize what had happened.
That's actually really scary to think that like the medicine could, which it can
can.
totally like change your personality.
Like alter your brain waves
Yeah.
and stuff. When he was given the correct medication, it took him out of the fog and he was able to see things clearly. So we came back home and we ended up getting remarried 12-12-12. Aww.
Wow.
She called him before the wedding and begged him not to marry me. We should have never gotten a divorce. His lawyer even pretty much said that. He told us that she should have stayed out of it and let us live our lives. Jeff had many health problems. He had epilepsy, high blood pressure, and a plethora of other things wrong with him. Walking was almost impossible, so he stayed home most of the time. On the weekend of September 9th, as we were celebrating my oldest son's birthday, his grandparents were in town and we all went to visit them at a hotel. We had a great day and was getting ready to leave. I went to get the car, and as I was waiting, my son called me and said there was something wrong with Dad. I went back to the room and he was panicking. He couldn't get up and he couldn't really move or talk. We called 911 and realized he was having a stroke.
Oh.
The next day, we thought he was doing good until his brain swelled. I called his mom and told her about what was going on. Monday, I talked to the doctor and nurses, and they let me know that his best case scenario, if we were to come out of this, would be he would have to live in a nursing home on a ventilator. That was the absolute basic scenario. That's not what Jeff would have wanted. So I made the difficult choice of letting the suffering end and let him go to heaven.
I forgot about the title. I forgot about the title of this story.
That's tough.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Dang. Dude, that is such a tough thing to do.
Oh,
Choice to
my
make, too.
God.
Dang.
Yeah.
Just being brain dead.
Jesus. Yeah. I mean, like, you can't do anything.
I told his mom all of this. She told me not to take him off life support. She wanted me to wait another week to see if he would come out of this coma and be okay. I told her I was told by the doctor, but she wanted me to wait. I told her everything. I told her that Tuesday he would be taken off life support. She did not come down to see him, not once. She tried to bash me on Facebook by saying thank you for telling me my son passed on Facebook. I told her he hasn't passed yet, that she had 24 more hours. I made the decision to donate his organs, so it was going to be a few more days so they could get things situated. By the way, you can get situated with us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile and we go live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch.
Oh my God. What?
Ugh.
Really heartbreaking. And for her to be like, also, it doesn't even seem like, OP was like, oh, I didn't tell her. It seems like OP had
She was being very informative.
told her.
Yeah.
And maybe we finish the story and we find out, oh, like she didn't tell her on the day. Seems like you've told her multiple times what the deadline is for this, and she doesn't care.
And it's really weird that not only your son is at the hospital, he doesn't have much time left. You haven't seen him?
Yeah. No, this mother-in-law is terrible.
That is wild. Ugh. This is where I could be the a-hole. The nurse asked for permission to give Karen the information about Jeff. I told the nurse, no, this was Tuesday. Jeff didn't end up passing away until Friday, the 16th of September. Karen did not make the trip to say goodbye. She didn't even come to give her grandchildren any support. Because of the fuss she caused on Facebook, a lot of people told her off and how she can still see him. She didn't even come to his funeral.
That's just terrible.
I never liked her, and she never liked me. She caused her son so much grief and heartache when he was alive. There's so much I'm leaving out here due to length and time. So am I the a-hole for not letting the nurse talk to her about my husband's terminal condition?
Ooh, you're not the
Oh my
a-hole.
gosh, no!
Not at all.
Which ways does the interstate go?
2 ways. And
Two ways.
she never drove down to see her husband
Yeah.
or her son.
And she had more than 24 hours to go see him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't it?
Ridiculous. Man.
That's so crazy. I think she felt so prideful that whenever people backlashed on her on Facebook,
Yeah.
she's like, I'm done. I can't
don't
do
care.
anything.
Yeah. She's like, everyone hates me. You're keeping my brain,
Take a hate comment. We
Yeah.
take them all the time.
Yeah.
Look at us.
We take him like a champ.
Yep. Just you get hit. What do you do?
Get back up. But that is the end of that story. My in-laws are disrespecting my boundaries, and my husband isn't doing anything about it.
Nothing?
Get
Really?
rid of your husband.
There you go.
I'm 24 female and married to my husband, 25 male. We've been together since I was 21, and back then I thought I was living the dream. I fell in love quickly and everything felt like a fairy tale until I met his family. A massive, tight-knit group with deep ties and traditions from his culture. By the way, this comes from Live Contact 1887 on the OK Storytime subreddit. He's the third of 7 siblings, each with their own story, and his second brother's girlfriend, who shares my ethnicity, was clearly the family's favorite from the start. She was not just a part of the family, she was adored. She and my husband were best friends long before she started dating his brother, and that made things even more complicated. I'm okay with the dynamics between the 4 of us, but it used to pain me a lot that she gets to spend a lot of time at their place and with his family. Not long after meeting his family, I got pregnant. It was unexpected, but we decided to make it work. Our families are religious, and a shotgun wedding was the only way forward. The planning was rushed. There was no time to enjoy the usual excitement of engagement. Everything about the wedding was taken care of by his family. Hotels, food, the whole reception, but it felt like I was losing control of my own big day. I was grateful for their help, but as the wedding approached, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't how it was supposed to be. The wedding ceremony took place in my hometown, 3 hours away from where the reception was held in his town, and on the day of the wedding, my joy was shattered when I realized that his father didn't bother to show up.
No.
They were too tired from the previous night's event. What was the previous night's event? My husband's grandmother, instead of his parents, walked him down the aisle, which is a massive red flag in my culture. It's like a sign that the marriage isn't serious. I mean, pretty sure it's a bad, it's a bad sign in any culture.
Yeah.
If your parents don't show up to your wedding.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a different issue than like
Yeah.
wedding ceremonials.
Yeah. I felt humiliated, but forced myself to smile and assure my parents that everything was fine. After the ceremony, we rushed back to his town for the reception. As part of their cultural tradition, I had to change into a different outfit, which was uncomfortable for me since I was already 7 months pregnant. Wow. I voiced my concerns, but his mother and grandmother dismissed them, insisting that I wear the suit for the sake of tradition. I felt suffocated, itchy, and miserable in my own wedding reception outfit, but I didn't want to make a scene or be labeled a bridezilla. I was constantly trying to prove myself to be accepted and to keep the peace.
Boy.
Then came the reception.
Dun dun dun.
My chance to finally relax and celebrate. That's nice.
Right.
And everything went perfectly.
Yeah, of course.
Wrong. Everything was ruined.
No.
As the night wore on, both grandmothers got wasted, snatched the microphone, and began singing loudly, completely hijacking the event. They clashed with each other over the mic, and no one stepped in to stop the chaos.
Oh my gosh.
My husband's mother eventually had to wrestle the mic away from them, but by then the atmosphere was already ruined. I sat there, 7 months pregnant, feeling more like a spectator than a bride, watching my own wedding reception spiral out of control. In an attempt to add a personal touch, I had organized a little reception activity where guests could take photos, paste them into a wedding booklet, and write messages to us. I spent nearly $2,000 on Instax cameras? Or Insta-X cameras, maybe? Photo paper and decorations, thinking it would be a fun and sentimental keepsake. But Two's girlfriend, the family golden girl, decided to take home 2 out of the 3 Insta-X cameras and most of the photo paper without asking. Who does that? All the effort I put into creating something special was literally stolen before my eyes. I felt powerless as she walked out with the items. Girl, stop her.
Yeah.
You saw her. Just be like, oh, sorry, those are actually not, you can't take those.
Right. Like those are for all the guests. Those are for the people that paid for them.
Yeah.
For their wedding.
And then we're taking them home for the pictures.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's supposed to take them home. Besides OP.
Exactly.
You know what? I will say, OP, I feel like you could have stopped her right there. I feel like you could have been like, wait a minute.
Like,
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
And when I finally broke down crying in front of everyone, my emotions were just brushed off as hormones.
Oh my gosh.
I was terrified of eating in front of everyone, feeling the constant scrutiny of his family's judgmental eyes on me. I was pregnant, exhausted, and starving, but every time I tried to do anything, I felt like I was stepping on eggshells. I kept telling myself that I should be grateful for their help with the reception, but deep down, I was devastated. This wasn't how my wedding day was supposed to be. It was as if I was a guest at my own event and I was barely holding it together. After the wedding, my husband and I moved in with my parents while searching for our own place. My husband insisted we visit his family every weekend, and although I knew it would be difficult, I reluctantly agreed. The journey to his family's home became a dreaded ritual, especially as my pregnancy progressed. I was 8 months pregnant, struggling with pain and constantly hungry, but because of their religious beliefs, we couldn't cook or even prepare food from Friday noon until Saturday midnight.
Oh,
so there's a lot of fasting. But I don't know. I thought that, I mean, like, it depends on what religion, I guess, but I know, like, in some religions that have
There's, like,
fasting,
rules.
there's like,
Exceptions.
you know, if there's exceptions for medical, you know, and stuff.
Yeah, and I think like yeah, I guess
And also,
it
I
depends.
don't think she's a part of that culture or that religion.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah. Well, that's interesting because she did use the words like she couldn't cook food rather
Yeah.
than couldn't eat.
this is true.
So I don't know if that means like
couldn't
she had
cook
to
or prepare. As a picky eater, I have few options, and I found myself silently starving, too timid to speak up. Okay, that part kind of sounds like there was food, and OP was like, I don't like it.
Yeah, like maybe there's like certain foods, but also she's pregnant.
That's
like,
true. So she has
you're-
cravings.
Yeah,
it's
and
a little
then
bit
your,
harder.
Like, taste is a little different.
Yeah, and also sometimes like things can make you like
yeah, nauseous.
feel nauseous.
Yeah,
This is true. Honestly, they should be catering more to you.
yeah, I agree.
Each visit was a battle against my own discomfort. Their house was always full of people, loud, bustling, and chaotic. Privacy was non-existent. My husband would disappear, engrossed in video games or hanging out with his siblings, while I was left alone, awkward, and struggling to keep up appearances. I felt abandoned, overwhelmed, and invisible in a place where everyone else seemed so connected and close. My body ached from the strain of pregnancy, and my anxiety was through the roof, but I put on a brave face, not wanting to cause tension. Fast forward to the present. It's been 9 months since our wedding, and our daughter is nearly 6 months old. My weekdays are peaceful, but the mere mention of visiting his family fills me with dread.
Dang.
I've told my husband how much it stresses me out, but he insists it's his only chance to bond with his family. I understand that, but every visit leaves me feeling more drained and resentful. I feel like I don't have a voice in our marriage, especially when it comes to setting boundaries with his family. Recently, his brother got married, and we were invited only 3 days before the wedding. We both work as retail managers for the same employer as his family, and getting time off on short notice is nearly impossible due to being short-staffed, which is probably what they wanted. They probably didn't want you guys to come, so they made it hard.
Yeah. Dang.
But somehow his grandparents and other relatives from overseas managed to attend this last-minute wedding. It felt like a deliberate move to exclude us, as his family didn't want us there, and it stirred up old wounds from my own wedding. My husband brushed it off, assuring me that his family wouldn't do something so hurtful, but I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being sidelined. I mean, absolutely. There's more to the story, a little bit more,
Yeah.
but it definitely feels like they have it out for OP and
Yeah.
kind of OP's husband, and OP's husband just doesn't realize it.
Yeah. And like,
And probably
why?
isn't getting the brunt of this treatment. Like, it's all going towards
Right.
OP.
Right. And there's like no evidence as to like
Yeah.
why there is some sort of resentment or tension or
Other
something.
than probably they got married pretty quick because of the baby.
Maybe.
So if they're religious, like if the family's religious,
It's
it might be
like,
something like that.
ooh.
Yeah.
But-
I think that maybe one solution is, if your husband wants to go visit his family, you can be like, okay, I don't feel super comfortable, so I'm going to
Yeah.
let you do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay here with our 6-month-old.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it's like you can still have that relationship, but like I'm not kind of being welcomed, so
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
Or maybe like just when you guys are there, like I wonder if she can just ask him to like, keep her around more. 'Cause
Yeah.
if like
I want to hang out with your siblings.
right, like if he's just kind of like, okay, bye, like have fun. I'm gonna go do this really quick. It's like what?
Like,
Wait.
we're actually going to go play some video games. You can
Right.
chill in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's like
It's like-
invite me or like make sure that I am taken
Yeah.
care of as well.
I can't imagine like taking my partner to something and then being like,
Right.
okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Yeah.
Like, don't you want to hang out with your partner? But there is more. Every time we visit, our baby is passed around like a toy. I'm naturally shy and anxious, and I hate confrontation, which does seem apparent in this story.
Right.
So I never feel comfortable telling them to stop. I always ask my husband beforehand to keep an eye on her, but once we're there, he disappears into his own world, leaving me alone to handle everything. I finally worked up the courage to tell his mother to stop passing our baby around, especially when she was a newborn. But she dismissed my concerns, saying it was normal for babies to cry and it would strengthen her vocal cords. She even joked that her daughter would grow up to be a great singer like her grandmother.
Gosh.
I plastered on a smile, nodding politely, even though I felt my heart sink every time they took her out of my arms.
Oh.
One day, I walked into a room to find his mother laying my baby on her stomach, which I knew was a major risk for SIDS. I was horrified, but too timid to confront her directly. Every time my baby cried, I felt like a failure. I would pull my husband aside to express my fears and frustrations, but he would just nod, tell me he understood, and then do nothing about it. My resentment grew until I finally snapped, telling him that if he didn't start setting boundaries, I would leave and go back to my parents.
Boom.
And I don't want you guys to ever leave, because you can listen to episodes with stories like this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left to the story, but do you have any final thoughts?
I'm glad that she said something.
Finally.
Because I do, there's a lot of stories where I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Opie, like, you can step it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think OP can. I think in this story, I mean, like, I totally understand that feeling of
Yeah.
fear with family. It also seems like she's kind of new to this family,
Right.
because the wedding and the pregnancy were so quick
Right.
and unexpected.
Right.
But I think when it comes to like the safety of your child, you do have to work through those feelings of not wanting to confront people and
right.
And yeah, that's like obviously they are in the wrong here, but this is also something that like you need to work on, as I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
know?
I know that's the difficulties. Like I can
Yeah.
understand that
Set
and
those
like
boundaries.
be like, you're the only one that can like do this. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like I don't really blame her, because I'm also like, I feel like, yeah, like you said, if you're new to the family, if you like
Yeah.
don't know them very well, and it seems like she's tried to like say something here and there, and they're just like, oh no, it's fine.
yeah.
Like, or oh no, you're just hormonal. You know what I mean? So I feel like I could see her being kind of like were you silent or were you silenced? Like that's what I'm kind
so
of seeing.
true.
But yeah, but at the end of the day, they're not gonna just stop doing that. So
Exactly.
she's gonna have to do something.
Yeah, no, it's like they're obviously the a-hole, but if
Right.
no one's gonna stand up for you,
Right.
sometimes you have to do it. I know the early months of marriage, especially with a newborn, are supposed to be tough, but I feel completely lost and unsupported. I'm constantly torn between wanting to make my husband happy and feeling like I'm losing myself in the process. The weight of it all, his family's overwhelming presence, the constant disregard for my comfort and my own insecurities is suffocating. I'm not sure if I'm being unreasonable, but I need an unbiased perspective. I love my husband and his family, but I don't know how much more of this I can take. I feel trapped in a cycle of anxiety and guilt, terrified that my marriage is slipping away from me. All I want is to feel heard, respected, and at peace in my own life. Yeah, like again, obviously this family is the a-hole.
Right.
Collectively the a-hole.
I
But my advice is nothing will change unless you can speak out and speak up
Yeah.
for your own needs and stuff, because you do deserve to have your needs met and to be comfortable in your home and to have your husband support you.
Right.
And it seems like until you're able to like be like, no, stop it. Like, do not do that.
Right.
They're going to walk all over you,
though.
which sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks. It's not fair.
It sucks that the husband is like
Yeah.
a part of this too. Like,
No,
do we know how long
these
they
people
were
suck.
together?
Not long. I
Not
think
long.
probably like a year to 2 at most.
Like before they got married?
Because they said it's been 9 months. The update was 9 months since the wedding. The
Mhm.
child is 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I want to know
yeah.
how long they were dating like
Math.
beforehand, because I'm like, obviously it's too late, but
Yeah.
like, like I wonder like if there were, I don't know, like
I don't think you- yeah.
signs or something. And I
Mhm.
know, yeah, there's usually.
Well,
Sometimes
I
there's not
honestly,
signs.
I think that because this marriage and this pregnancy and stuff were so quick,
Yeah,
she probably didn't see all. Like you don't have a chance to necessarily get to know
Right.
someone that well
right.
when everything does go quick, especially when you're trying to focus on a baby and on a wedding. Like
yeah,
those already kind of inhibit learning about a person and their family.
yeah,
So again, like not
Totally.
your fault, but it seems like the only way to
Yeah.
stop them from doing this is to stand up and say like, stop.
say no to bullying.
Yeah, say no to bullying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, is that the end of the story, Sophia?
That's the end of that story.
That's crazy.
We ruined my mother-in-law's Christmas because we didn't spend it with her. Sounds like the first mother.
Tis tis.
Long story short, am I the a-hole if I stay at home at Christmas instead of spending it with my in-laws? Me, 29 female, and my fiance, 31 male, bought a small farm about a year ago so I could realize my dream of having my own sales and training stable for horses.
That's so cool.
sick.
Yeah.
We spend Christmas one year with my family and the next with my fiance's family, and therefore discuss this Christmas with my in-laws the first week in our new home. By the way, this comes from OK Lettuce 4512 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So we agreed to host everyone at our place since we had the most space, and because we expected to have horses on the property by the summer,
That's so fun.
I couldn't really go anywhere anyway. The horses needed to be fed 3 times a day. They needed time outside in the paddocks. The stall needed to be clean, etc. As we had hoped and planned, the first horses arrived in August. Then my fiance's grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer for a second time. In October, and my mother-in-law, in a state of panic, booked a vacation home 4 hours away from where we live for a whole week, non-refundable, without speaking to anyone before doing so. I had been looking forward to spending Christmas at home, going for a sleigh ride with the kids. I'm going on a sleigh ride. Putting out snacks for the elf living in the barn, and not having to travel anywhere with a screaming 2-year-old who hates car rides after the worst year of my life.
And did the family, they agreed to come to OP's farm? Or that was just what OP was thinking?
OP was thinking, we agreed to host everyone, at their place. And then we find out that the mother-in-law booked a vacation home 4 hours away. It started in March when my dad was diagnosed with esophageal cancer, which had spread to both lungs.
Ugh.
He refused chemotherapy as it would only give him a couple of extra weeks, and he would be sick from the treatment. Then my maternal grandmother passed away in May.
Oh.
My dad passed away in June.
Oh, no.
Only 3 weeks after my grandmother. And then my paternal grandfather passed away in September.
Oh my God.
Wow.
This is so sad.
They all lived in my home country, Norway, and as I live in Denmark, this has meant a lot of traveling for me and my 2-year-old daughter. I would really like to just stay at home this Christmas, and I have the added responsibility of those horses boarded at our property. I will not compromise on animal welfare because of a holiday. I even told my fiance that he could go with our daughter. Even though it broke my heart thinking about not being with them, I knew how much it means to his family that they're there. He, however, said that either we all go or none of us goes. He did not want me to be alone for Christmas. As fate would have it, a child in my daughter's daycare got chickenpox last week. She could have been contagious for a couple of days before the symptoms started, so there's a fair chance my daughter is getting it too. Why don't they have the chickenpox vaccine? What's going on there? And with the 10 to 14 days incubation period, it fits perfectly with a Christmas outbreak. I told my mother-in-law about it, hoping she would say we should stay home, thinking about the other kids, and of course my fiance's grandmother, who is in active chemotherapy. She actually has to rush home on the 25th because she's having treatment that day. She lives 20 minutes away from us, so it's a ridiculous trip for her as well. I told mother-in-law that if our daughter gets really sick, we are not going. She did not like that.
Oh.
So what do we do? Stay at home, ruining possibly the last Christmas my fiance's family is having with his grandmother, but keeping a clean conscience about the horses and my car-hating toddler. Or do we feed the horses and put them in their stalls way too early, and even then arrive late for Christmas dinner with a tired and possibly sick toddler, opening a few presents and going to bed where I won't be able to sleep, knowing there's no one at our property in case of an emergency with the horses. Then we'll have to haul butt at the crack of dawn to go home, again with a screaming toddler, still arrive late for the horses' breakfast, and eventually just crash out from exhaustion on the couch. I have never in my life hoped my daughter gets sick, but now I kind of do. She has to get it eventually anyway, and there is an update.
I have some questions real quick.
Yes.
Can you get a horse sitter? Is that a possibility?
That's what I was wondering.
So when you have horses, you could just never leave your property?
Yeah, I'm assuming that. I mean, usually you have, I don't know. I don't know too much about like what it goes into having horses, but I assume that usually you have multiple hands and stuff that like you would want, at least if you ever need to, like in an emergency, leave the property or something, or go with your, and it seems like you have I mean, maybe they don't have that much time, but it seems like you maybe had like a week or two advance notice. But I think the problem is it just seems like a lot of effort in general. Like you have to get a sitter, you have to your kid's sick. There's driving involved, so it seems like that. We told my fiance's family that we are staying at home.
Okay.
Everyone was understanding, and the grandparents were happy we thought about their health. That's good.
Yeah.
Except mother-in-law. It's
Ah.
always her. She made it very clear how sad and disappointed it made her that her son and granddaughter are staying home with me. She will have other grandchildren there. He told her over the phone as they already arrived at the vacation home, and I don't think she knew she was on speaker when she told my fiance that she hoped he wasn't compromising and doing something he really didn't want to do. She completely disregarded the stuff about her parents' and grandparents' health and was just annoyed we couldn't just get someone to watch the dang horses. And there are some comments. So comment 1 says, please quit trying to please your in-laws. You think they give one hoot about your care and comfort? You have a family and home. Start your own traditions. OP says, apparently they don't, and they don't understand the whole horse thing. My mother-in-law hates them and can't understand why I want to work with them. I tried to start a new tradition where everyone could stay at our place, but that went down the drain because my mother-in-law single-handedly decided we should do something else this year. And comment 2 says, I would tell mother-in-law sorry, but it was organized for the Christmas gathering being held at your residence. Her changing things around last minute is not your problem. You will be staying at home. If grandma is home after her treatment, you can invite her over later. Mother-in-law is being very disrespectful to change plans and then get upset when things don't go as she planned. Horses have the amazing ability to do dumb things and get hurt. If you're responsible for them, you have to look after them. And Opie replies, exactly. And on top of that, they have an amazing ability to do things like that at the most inconvenient time. Wouldn't surprise me if we got home to one horse rolled stuck in its stall, one with colic, and the fence for the horses in the loose housing would probably be on the ground. In my last post, I wondered if I would be the a-hole if we stayed at home during Christmas because of logistical issues with the horses in my care, the long drive, and the potential of passing on a virus to the great-grandmother in active chemotherapy. We stayed at home and ruined my mother-in-law's Christmas. We told her Sunday that we would stay at home. She had her other son, her daughter, and son-in-law with their 2 young children. Her parents, which wholeheartedly supported us staying home so we wouldn't pass anything on to them. My father-in-law's sister and her daughter, and some family members from my brother-in-law's side. So she wasn't exactly alone. We call them on FaceTime on Christmas, and my mother-in-law made a point of not having the time to speak to us because she needed to be there with the grandkids who were actually there. They were together for an entire week, except for a dry text message on Christmas saying, thanks for the gift. We haven't heard from them since. I usually speak to my mother-in-law every day, sending pictures and videos of our daughter.
Every day.
Whew. And she's acting like this?
Yeah.
She hasn't answered once since we told her we were staying home. It kind of feels like she's punishing us for not being there. And we kind of feel left out of the family for the holiday. We have reached out several times a day, both in the family group chat and to my mother-in-law alone. Radio silence. They have not done anything to make us feel included. We didn't even get a Merry Christmas.
Dang.
What the heck? Come on, get over it. It's Christmas. Be nice.
I understand being upset.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair, but I understand, it was possibly the last Christmas. You wanted your family there. You're upset that they
Sure.
couldn't come.
Yeah.
But
like the grandparents are fine with
Like,
it. So
yes.
it's like, why are you the one getting upset for them?
yeah, so I understand being upset, but have a little understanding
Yeah.
for your family, especially when you change the
You change
plans last minute.
It's like, it's not like they just don't want to come. There are logistical issues here, and their kid might be sick.
Yeah.
Might have a disease.
Yeah, and it seems like OP and her husband are doing what they can.
Yeah.
They're texting. They
Reaching
tried
out.
to FaceTime. They're reaching out. The mother-in-law is not responding. Maybe the mother-in-law just needs to cool down, and
Yeah.
it's all gonna sort itself out. But it's it seems like OP and her husband did everything they can at this point.
Agreed. After the 25th, I stopped reaching out. By the way, you can reach out to us by listening to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. My fiance also got a severe tooth infection.
no.
Oh my God, it's hit after
You guys
hit.
are cursed.
Yeah,
Series of unfortunate events.
truly.
Dang.
which needed a visit to the dentist Sunday, a call to the ER on Christmas Eve, and another visit to the dentist on the 26th. What cursed object did you pick up from a temple?
They got the evil eye.
Literally. Chickenpox. And our daughter is now sick with a mild case. We had a really nice Christmas at home and are now really happy we didn't go.
Oh, great.
But still a little hurt because of mother-in-law's reaction.
Sure.
I have loved her for almost 10 years and been closer to her than with my own mother. And there are some relevant comments to finish this off. Comment 1 says she's using the silent treatment to make you beg for her attention. Ignore it. When she decides to pretend it didn't happen, you can decide if you want a relationship with her. OP says, I haven't texted her today or yesterday. My fiance tried today but got no answer as well. I have loved the woman for almost 10 years and been closer to her than with my own mother, so this stings a bit. Comment 2 says, stop chasing her. Be glad you found out who she was before your daughter got really attached.
Chill.
Okay.
Chill.
Okay. We
Let's
don't
slow
need to.
down
Yeah.
here.
She's pissy. She'll be fine. Like, you don't have to necessarily be like, she's my favorite person, but I feel like everyone will get over it.
What I continuously am frustrated with comments on Reddit is there's no room for any ruptures in relationships.
Mm-mm.
Terrible relationships. I think secure, strong relationships allow space for ruptures and repair. That
I mean, she
that is
said
what
she was closer to
happens
her than
in
her own mother.
relationships. And so
Yeah.
there's a rupture. It happens in relationships. She's gonna calm down. You guys are probably gonna take it, talk it out. You had a great relationship for 10 years.
This is
you don't
not
have to jump ahead and be
Yeah.
like, the relationship is over.
No, I think this is her being a little baby, and she's gotta get over it. Yeah.
Just wait it out. I
Just wait it
agree. You don't need to keep texting her.
No.
Give her space. And you guys
She'll
will
come
come back and you could have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
My husband always takes expensive trips, but I'm selfish for going to a wedding?
If it's not to me, then it sounds pretty selfish.
My brother's wedding is coming up this fall. He's doing a small ceremony for close family in a neighboring state and a larger reception near our parents' home about 45 minutes away. The two events are about 1 week apart, with the reception preceding the ceremony. My husband, male 29, and I, female 28, have been married for 9 years, have no children, and have several animals. I am officiating the wedding.
All right.
By the way, this comes from user throwawayobvi0000, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Brother chose to have the ceremony in a neighboring state. Our options would be a 10-hour drive one way or a cheap flight and a rental car.
Okay.
When I explained this to my husband, he quickly became frustrated and said he didn't want to go because of the expectation to spend so much time and money on my brother for his wedding. I now will elaborate more below. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like a red flag, dude. I understood how he felt, and I told him as much. I also told him that the event was important to me and that I intended to attend it. He told me that I should go, but that I needed to coordinate with my family for carpooling and the Airbnb. He basically said, keep him out of it, and he wanted nothing to do with it. My parents are divorced. My dad's flying in, and my sister's large family is driving but does not have room for me to ride with them. This left carpooling with my mom as the only option. Her vehicle is a tiny car that I don't feel comfortable making the drive in, which leaves my car as the only option. My entire family is sharing an Airbnb and splitting the bill to keep costs down. We'll be making meals rather than eating out. I anticipate the cost of attending the ceremony to be roughly $500 after splitting the cost of gas with my mom. The reception will cost very little to travel to and will be a single evening event. My husband doesn't want to go for many reasons. Number one, in almost 10 years of marriage, we have not gone on a single vacation as a couple. We have been focusing on home renovations and schooling. We have had many discussions about how we are choosing different things, and the time to travel will come later in life for us. Anytime a family vacation comes up, we go if it's less than a 3-hour drive and would not if it was beyond that. My husband does not want to make an expensive and time-consuming trip for my brother's wedding when we have done very little as a couple. Are we going to say that makes any sense whatsoever?
It's like we're working out of the pretext of convenience. Also, I've noticed that people that like to do home renovations also like to stay home. But he's going on trips, though, right?
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not? He just,
Well, it's like they would
he's-
never go on trips unless it was like 3 hours away. And whenever
He's
that
no
they would,
trip
he'd
guy?
be like, well, I'm going to do the home renovation in school. We're focusing on this.
Maybe
I
you
don't
need
know,
to
man.
communicate that you want to go on trips more.
But then
Maybe
for
he
his,
just doesn't like going out.
But
I don't know.
then this here, the reasoning being like, well, the reason I don't want to go like 10 hours to your brother's wedding is because we haven't done any other trips as a couple. But it's like, my guy, that sounds like your decision.
Yeah. Really weird.
When have you ever heard the advice, wait until you're older to travel the world? You're going to love it when your bones and your joints are all creaky and achy. That's when it's
Yeah.
going to be the most fun. Number 2, no one in our family is very well off. Many make questionable financial choices. This kind of wedding is very different from what is typically done, and he considers my brother to be selfish, entitled, arrogant, blah, 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 for expecting the family to attend the ceremony in addition to the reception. 3, we do have several animals. We live about 30 minutes from our closest relatives, and it would be unfair to ask them to care for our animals while we were away. We do have great neighbors that could help, but my husband doesn't feel comfortable with it. When my husband again asked about the upcoming trip, he very quickly became frustrated that I would need to drive our vehicle and that the trip was so long, from a Thursday to a Monday. He asked why I wasn't flying, and I explained a rental car would be needed, and with the flight, it seemed like the more expensive route to go. He blew up, saying the trip was absurd, that my brother was arrogant, that I was oblivious, and asked who I thought I was, suggesting the trip would actually cost $1,200 to $5,000 when something happens to our car, and said that I was making it very clear that I didn't care what he thought about the whole thing. Yeah, because at this point, I don't care. My brother's getting married.
Brother,
And you're going to be
brother.
like, your brother's arrogant and selfish, and it's like, hi, I'm his sister. Maybe don't slam dunk on my brother because you don't want to go on a road trip.
This is weird. This is really weird. I feel like there's more pent up things happening here.
This is really strange.
We not have the money. We're just fighting against it. What?
I don't know.
What's going on here?
Maybe it could be a money thing. I don't know. He said that my going goes directly against everything we have talked about, and that I'm being emotional rather than logical, and that it is ridiculous to attend the ceremony at all, and that I will be lucky if he even attends the reception. Throughout our marriage, my husband has taken 3 fishing trips, ranging from $500 to $1,200, that I have not been invited on. We've spent money on expensive programs and donations because they were important to him, and I supported it because that made it important to me. When I pointed this out to him, he said that it was different and that he had worked hard for those trips and that I hadn't been saving for that trip.
Ooh.
All right, if that's the road we're going down, let's separate our finances, huh? If you're working so hard, how about I won't take any of your money, you don't take any of mine, even though we're married, you know? What are we doing?
This at all.
We've been married. They've been married for 9 years. I work full time and always have. Although I'm not raking in the money, I currently make more money than I ever have after graduating with my master's degree in May. Oh yeah! I worked an additional 60 hours and had been planning on using that money to pay for the trip. He says because I hadn't specifically discussed using that money for the wedding because he didn't want to hear about it, it didn't count as working hard to go, and that I was being financially irresponsible.
Oh my.
Who is this guy? This guy's crazy. He said that going to my own brother's wedding is selfish and is directly against our best interests, and that I bit off more than I can chew, that I'm in a effing expensive pickle, and that I need to wake up.
I say.
Where does this mindset come from?
Also, in a pretext of a family, if this was my family and this was my wife and someone that I was with, there's no I, there's no my, it's our money. I used our money to go on a fishing trip. I used our money to do this. I used our money to renovate the house. We're going to use our money to get you to go to your brother's wedding. Not my this, my that. Da, 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 da. I worked hard for this. I worked hard for these trips.
I feel I have been backed into an unfair situation. This is a big deal for me. It isn't just a family vacation, it's a wedding. It matters to me. It's important. Even if I wasn't officiating, I feel that it was important to go, regardless, and would have huge regrets if I missed it. I accept and understand his reasoning for not wanting to go, although I would prefer to have him come. I also appreciate that he would be taking care of our animals on his own while I'm gone, which, again, he didn't need to do. He could hire the neighbors. I'm trying to keep this trip as cheap as possible and would like to spend time with my family rather than showing up for the ceremony and leaving at the same price point. He was at first supportive of a more local wedding, then of just my attending, and is now hinting at the end of our relationship. He has told me, you do you, that I'm being too emotional about it all for even considering going, and that he refuses to discuss the trip with me again, period.
Oh, he does have.
What did your brother do? Like, why does he hate your brother so much?
Got a point though. It was opposite day.
I think he just likes having a lot of control.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like he put his heels in the dirt and said, I'm not moving. And you're like, well, okay, I don't care.
You're a little
My
weird.
brother's
I'm not
wedding.
leaving.
And now he's like, fine. You know what? If he's hinting at the end, what you should make it very clear that it's over. He has suggested splitting up our finances and said something along the lines of, I see you're going to do whatever you want. I'll do the same. Just don't cry when I say no to imminent financial needs or wants or when it leads to divorce. How do I find the line respecting my husband's opinion, honoring what is important to me personally, and making a reasonable decision altogether? What can I say to my husband to explain I care about him and his opinion without missing such an important event? Got some comments here. Number 1, so he gets fishing trips and you can't attend your brother's wedding. Did I read that right? What the F? Was he your first relationship? Because this doesn't sound like a 50-50. It sounds like he's controlling and you verbally with threats. In 10 years, no vacations together, and yet he goes on fishing trips alone. Go to the wedding, and I would strongly suggest getting an attorney afterwards to file for divorce. Reply, her lack of perspective here is horrifying and astonishing. She has been giving in to this dude's control for so long, she has almost no insight into how dysfunctional and he actually is. It goes to show how terrible and deep the manipulation runs, and I hope she is able to read these comments here and truly take them in and escape.
After she reads that, she's probably going to be thinking back on all the other times.
It's like you either, your eyes open and you go, oh my God, or you completely shut down and you're like, I'm never opening that again. I'm never thinking about that again. I love my husband. I'm staying with him forever. Like, whatever. You either go full denial or full acceptance. Comment number 2 here. There's a difference between being frugal and being cheap. Your husband is cheap. I mean, you don't have Las Vegas for 2 weeks money, but sometimes you have to do something with your life, and it's your brother, not a second cousin whose wedding you just think is cool. I don't think your marriage is as stable one as you think it is. I mean, nothing against being frugal. I am myself, but he's being ridiculous. It's your brother, and it's hopefully his only wedding. He acts like your brother has a wedding yearly, and you went to all of them. Exactly. And we have update. Thank you all for your insight and advice on my previous post. It was very sobering to see how many people could read between the lines of our relationship with a single example. Although I've never thought we had a fairy tale relationship, I never realized the extent of the I've been enduring until strangers on the internet pointed out that I deserve better. Thank you all for your kindness. Many of you suggested that this wasn't the whole story, and that's true.
Oh.
Okay, I feel like we're about to get into why he despises the brother so much. Early in our marriage, my husband was an and he hid it from me for a long time. He also cheated on me within the first year or so of our marriage and didn't tell me about it for 7 years. This cheating did not occur on the fishing trips. I'm certain that those were just fishing trips. He has since gone through treatment, but still uses some substances that I consider to be less worrisome. There was an early instance of animal that has haunted me.
Okay.
This guy is a massive walking red flag.
Yeah, I'm done. We got to get out of here. Not
He
animals.
cheated on you. He's animals. Leave
Yeah,
this man.
This is.
You were 19 when you got together. You have to have the whole rest of your life. Yikes. Okay. Although we have had some good times and have worked together to create our dream life, I feel like the 9 years that we have been married average out to be some shade of gray, lonely and anxious and my husband has frequently said our relationship looks beautiful from the outside, but is broken and toxic on the inside, and that we continue to draw circles with promises to improve and nothing ever changes. He said that he never changed because I just, quote, took it and loved him and stayed. This guy's serving up a divorce on a silver platter here.
Yeah.
He grew up in an household and says that is to blame. And I understand that to an extent, although others have endured similar and have never been. Yes, he has also told me that he has treated me this way because I've never stood up for myself and that sometimes the victim is to blame. I'm not even going to get into that. For years, I have asked him to go to counseling for himself and as a couple, and he's told me that if that is truly where I am, he wants a divorce. Girl, divorce this man and take everything you can from him.
Yeah.
Since the original post, it has become very clear to me I cannot stay in this relationship. I have communicated every facet of my feelings and frustrations to him and have let him know that I'm considering a divorce, but that I need more time to decide. In this time, he has apologized profusely, owned that he has been disrespectful with how he communicates to me and to my family, vowed to change, made amends with his coworkers, signed up for therapy, and asked if we can pursue couples therapy. Definitely don't go to couples therapy with him because he will weaponize that against you.
Yeah.
Leave this man. There are things that once they are said, they don't go back in the bottle. And some of the things that he has said and done don't go back in the bottle. He has apologized for the animal cruelty and told me that it has made him sick and he has beat himself up over it. I've never witnessed a similar event, although I told him I think he is too aggressive with some of our animals. He has started apologizing to my family and sold one of his motorcycles to pay for me to attend the wedding. He has also begged me to allow him to come to the wedding, which I've told him I need time to think about. I'm at a complete loss at what to do. He's love bombing you. Do not fall for this. I feel I'm very clearly seeing what these last 9 years have been. At no point do I think that we had a healthy relationship built on love or respect. There is no baseline to return to. We would be building it. For sure, there were times that we had fun and we have built what truly is my dream life, with the exception of our relationship, which is a pretty big facet of a dream life, I would say. My husband seems to think that this is salvageable. In the last week, I think he has made some meaningful changes, although only when I voiced that it was needed. He says we have a long life ahead of us, and that's lots of time for him to make things right and treat me with the love and respect I deserve. He had 9 years and he didn't care. And now the moment you're like, I guess I will leave, he goes,
Yeah, you know why? Because he had control. He hasn't seen you, put up boundaries and let you be you, and he's controlled you, and he's been getting away with all this stuff until now.
Look, this guy, theoretically, this guy can change and become a better person and make positive changes and be a completely different person. However, I would never condone staying in this relationship with this man while he makes these changes because he's not going to change. If you guys stay together, he's not going to change. He's going to go right back to the way things used to be.
Do we go straight into divorce or do we take a break?
Take a break and then
Divorce.
go into divorce.
Divorce.
I say take a
Straight
break.
divorce.
I say
Straight divorce.
It's like, I know people
For
can
me.
change, and especially this is like the fire under his butt. They're like, oh.
I'm about to lose.
Yeah,
OP.
but he can change and be with someone else and have that positive relationship with them, but it's not going to be with me anymore. It's not. Not after what he said, not after what he's done.
Yeah, I think OP's getting around to that.
It's just not going to happen with us, and that's okay. I see that I am still young enough to start over and have a family and rebuild if I do it sooner than later. He's told me that he respects my decision either way, but that he needs me and doesn't think he will ever recover from this, that it will be his biggest regret. Well, we all have regrets in life, buddy, and let that regret inform your behavior moving forward. By the way, I bet you would regret not listening to full episodes with stories like this. And it's so easy. All you got to do is go to iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, literally wherever you listen to podcasts, search the name of our show, OK Storytime, and that's all it takes to listen to every single story we've ever told. It's a lot. We have a little bit more story left. I think we're all in accord here. Let's go ahead and knock it out. Yep.
Yeah.
Is there anything here worth saving? Is he truly going to change, or would I just be taking it and loving him and staying? Should I be willing to believe his actions through the last week over his actions these last 9 years? No, you shouldn't. Is this just love bombing? Yes, it is. Should I be considering allowing him to attend the wedding if we decide to work on things? No. If he does change, is this someone that should ever be trusted to have children? I don't know. I know that I will be fine if I leave. I just fear I'm throwing the relationship away as it starts to improve. After 9 years, is it worth it to wait a bit longer? Sunk cost fallacy. That's not how that works. I've been too close to this situation for too long and worry that I'm not seeing things clearly. You guys have been really helpful at providing an outside perspective, and I truly appreciate any insight you can give here. We have some comments to finish it off. Let's do it. Comment number 1, let's be real. Your husband has always thought it was salvageable because he has always thought it was your problem and is only now taking any action because you started to grow a backbone and said enough is enough. He was never your person, as evidenced by your statement that there was never love and respect. So all you have to build on is the shiny everything that looks pretty on the outside. No love, no respect. Loneliness, anxiety, cheating, lying. That is your foundation. And yeah, OP even said it. They're like, we wouldn't even be rebuilding. We'd be starting from zero because it was never there. That's not worth salvaging.
It's not. It really isn't. You don't deserve to be around this, OP. You deserve to be around someone that'll let you go to your brother's wedding and not fuss about it. And also won't cheat on you. And also won't go on boys' fishing trips.
He catches fish and then he punches him.
Dude.
Just uppercuts
Dude,
a trout
so
back
I'm
into
just
the
like
river.
clocked out of this story. Damn it, the purple trainer. I've clocked out of the story. I'm like, I just can't.
Go to the wedding alone. Find an individual therapist, and I would look to separate, just to give you breathing room and time to reflect and work on yourself. Deep dive into why you married him, why you accepted all of it. Yeah, he's love bombing and freaking out and gaslighting you. You deserve because you never stood up for yourself? What?
Ooh.
Exactly. He was being like, I mean, it's the victim's fault. No, just no. Right now, you are stuck in a sunk cost fallacy loop. And better the devil you know. Neither is a way to live. Comment number 2 says, in all caps, yes, this is just love bombing. For God's sake, save yourself. Get away from this horrible person.
Thanks.
Comment number 3, if he's only changing because you want to leave, then it is not genuine change. It's temporary until he can slowly start to work his behavior backwards. He admitted it. He won't change because you take it. If you stay, he won't change. And he has said it clear as day. You deserve more, and you are owed way better. And that is the end of that story.
Thank goodness, dude. Oh my gosh.
Riley was getting
I
triggered.
was not about that story.
Katie Paladin says, Riley's so dramatic.
I am. I really am. I felt like I was stuck. Okay. I went to the
Well, at least you weren't
severance.
stuck in that story for 9 years like OP. Can you imagine?
Dude, I was stuck in Hollywood on Friday during the severance thing because, like, it took us 45 minutes to find our car. It took us 45 minutes to get out of the car.
You're
I was
not about to do this.
starving.
You're not about to do this.
Well,
You're not about to complain about going to the Severance premiere.
Okay, it was
You're not
after.
gonna do
It was
that.
after. It was after.
I don't care. That's a part of it.
Oh,
You're not
it was
gonna
great.
do that.
It was great. But anyways, I felt stuck because I had that feeling of feeling stuck. Like this will never end. I just that feeling that I felt
What,
during
like
that.
traffic anxiety?
No, just like I'm hungry and nothing's gonna change.
You
that,
were just
and I'm just
hangry.
like,
You were just
I'm just
hangry,
like,
my guy.
that's how I felt during the
Yeah,
story. I got a
you know,
similar feeling. And I
Riley
just felt
called
really
me too. He's like,
uncomfortable.
I'm in Hollywood and I need food. And I was like,
Yeah.
Joe's Pizza.
I know who to call, and I
Oh.
should have did Joel's Pizza. I've been there before.
My husband quit his job, but still makes me take care of everything at home.
Go to jail.
Context. We in our very late 30s, married 11 years. He is 100% disabled with the VA, PTSD, one child, she just turned 6, separate finances. He worked out of town. By the way, this comes from emergency intern 4327. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So on to the juice. I never wanted children. And when we first got together, neither did he. That was until he saw me playing with all my nieces and nephews at a family gathering. I have 14 total. Back then, only 6. I am one of 9 siblings, so family functions are huge. From that point forward, he knew he wanted kids with me. I ended up pregnant. I chose to keep her and got a litigation and ablation a few months after having her. He had expressed his feelings being hurt that I would do such a thing, and we started counseling. Working out of town like he did meant there wasn't a lot of time for us. Just weekends the entire time our daughter has been alive. When he'd get home, there were always upset feelings towards me. He prefers the house to be more clean than it usually is, so I started deep cleaning a room a week. It's not like the house is trashed, it's just not home and garden ready. It's just hard to do all the things and keep a spotless house, so naturally speaking, some of the household chores took a backseat. Since our daughter was born, I've been taking her to work 40 plus hours a week. I work from a property management and realtor office and have for the last 20 years. I run most things in the office and I occasionally clean rentals for some extra cash. It has been so nice bringing her to work. She tells my bosses that she loves them and they tell her they love her too. Aw. They help me teach her things and they watch her when I have appointments, let alone the money I'm saving on daycare. I am truly thankful and grateful for my bosses. So my husband just quit his job at the beginning of this year. It has been 20 days so far, and this is ridiculous. Here are the things he has done since being home. He does make sure to wash dishes. Okay, that's good. He has made dinner 2 times. A little less good.
Well, that's 10%.
He has washed our child so I could have a child-free day at work 4 times.
It's 20%.
And he had played a lot of video games. Yes, that's right. Game as in singular, Call of Duty. He'll play all day. He'll play most of the night. He gets about 4 hours of sleep and then repeats. The only time he's not playing is his appointments. And when I ask if we can watch something together, I asked her daughter what she does with dad during the day. He watches her, and her response made my blood boil. Dad lets me watch YouTube and play with Legos all day. The man hadn't even given her lunch. My child is Dang smart, of course. She went and made her own PB&J and ate the fruit out of the fruit bowl when she was hungry. He's not doing anything he should be doing. Not helping her with math and ABCs to prepare her for school this year. Not taking her on an outing. Not even making her something to eat. He's not doing any of the cleaning that bugged him while he was working. He's not doing even the man jobs like taking the car in for an oil change while I'm at work. He's not interested in me and my hobbies or job. He's literally turning into a bum. The best I got is that he doesn't drink or do any substances. He's not abusive or anything, or rather on any level. He's just not a good dad or partner. Counseling isn't helping, and I want to just leave, but I've been here so long already.
With like therapy and counseling, it's like a huge thing is the therapist or counselor, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel for veterans, man. I think that's my thing with this story that's getting me hung up. I'm also like 3 glasses of grape juice. I'm getting a little somber
Yeah.
in my thoughts.
Tell me about these veterans.
I want to make more jokes about Harry Potter.
Harry Potter probably has
my
some
brain's having a
PTSD.
hard time going back.
If I do leave, I'm the one that has to start all over again. We live in his house he bought before we were married. I drive his vehicle he bought for me, but never put my name on. I do not have savings as I pay the utilities, all the bills for our daughter, all the groceries, and a couple of subscription services. What do I do to get him to do something, or rather anything other than COD? Edit, he is in therapy 3 times a week. 1 time of the week is couples counseling. Edit 2, okay, so dang, I was expecting 1 or 2 comments telling me to stay in my lane, or the hard Reddit divorce. A lot of people getting suggests, so there are a couple of updates. 1, I left my phone at the office and my bosses kept hearing it go off. They have read everything. I don't lock my phone.
What?
Your bosses are reading your phone.
What? Where do you work? Where that's acceptable?
I have no need. It is very common for them to use my phone and I theirs for all sorts of things. They agree with a lot of different comments and have made it point blank clear that if I need, I have a place free of charge for both my daughter and I, till they and I can get into a house of our own. I just would have never asked for help, or I guess such a deep discount anyway, as I feel like they've helped so much already. 2, I'm going to look for different therapists for my husband and a couples counselor. 3, I'm going to a cognitive behavioral therapist. This is not something any of our therapists have brought up. And 4, I am in therapy and I do like my therapist. I know she's a couple of years away from retirement, so I am going to look and ask for a referral to replace her. She's always saying I need to be more assertive in my communication and echoes some of what y'all said. 5, I deeply appreciate the veterans, just like Dakota, and spouses of veterans commenting. I actually didn't know I was completely alone in this, and I appreciate the kind messages of your personal journeys. It has given me a way better insight than I have had, and I am going to talk over a schedule with him and fill out a shared Google Calendar that will alert him to things that need to be done. I will also ask him to add things planned specifically just for us. And reader reacting responds and says, I love your schedule. I'm not going to talk about it tonight, but I did ask when I got home if there was a good time to talk. We have scheduled and I'm going to talk over your schedule. Well, kind of. I'm going to tweak a little and see what he can start now when/what we can go doing forward. I don't know that the outings will happen immediately or anytime relatively soon, but I do have ideas to plug into the things he might be opposed to. I'm still open to suggestions, and I only described him as a bum. I think it is OP, as I'm at a loss for words. A better description is in a rut, not becoming a bum, but is in a rut. But update. So I thought I'd be able to update y'all with something nice and joyful.
Okay.
Like, in couples counseling, we talked over everything, and magically he snapped out of it. Or even perhaps I found him better treatment, and he's open to trying it.
Oh.
But this is not that post.
Oh, dang it.
Today, I and my daughter went to my mom's for a family hangout. We usually do these once a month on a Sunday that everyone isn't working, and usually we stay through dinner. Everyone was pleased to see me and my daughter, but were very confused as to why my husband wasn't joining. I had asked him, and he said he wanted to stay home. This is very normal response as of lately. I had no problems with it. I asked if he wanted to bring him a plate of dinner. He said no. Okay, no problem. I thought he was just going to play more COD. Well, I forgot my phone at home. It only became important when I needed to show it to my sister and her husband, a house I had saved for them to look at. It just hit the market yesterday and was a killer deal, and they're looking. So I couldn't remember the address, and the 3 of us took off and went back to my house to pick it up. They came. I really hope this isn't going where I think it's going. They came because they thought it would be nice to say hello to my husband, but also maybe pressure him to come hang out. There was a car I've never seen parked on the street in front of my husband's house.
No. Wait, no. No.
We walked into the house, but my husband was not in front of the TV.
No, he was in front of someone's TV.
I figured he was in the bathroom.
Mhm.
Found my phone on the counter and turned to leave. I froze. That was a moan. And those aren't my shoes. Before I could even understand what was happening, my brother-in-law had my husband by his neck. My sister was screaming obscenities at some woman while throwing clothes at her. It was a lot. Oh. I asked my husband what was going on. He had no reply other than to shrug. My brother-in-law let go. My husband pulled on some pants. My brother-in-law gave me my husband's phone from the nightstand. Never once have I gone through my husband's phone. I didn't even know the password. My brother-in-law forced my husband to give me the password. My husband has been...
How long did that say? How long did that say?
My husband has been having an affair for the better part of 4 years.
I can't even scream. I can't even scream.
I'll drink this for LP.
Well, the good news is that all my sympathy for this guy can go out of the window. This guy can get thrown into an eyeball-sized black hole, become spaghetti, and get eaten by the pigs in Tartarus that are looked after by the spirit of James Gandolfini.
I couldn't and still can't understand. I sent myself screenshots, so I have proof. I'm at my mom's now. We're going to stay with one of my siblings for a day or two. When I get back to the office, I'm finding a new place to live. By the way, if you want to find a new place to listen to these stories, you should listen to our podcast.
That's right.
On Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Or like wherever
Wherever.
any place where you get
It's
your
great.
little podcasts.
You could listen while you're on the move.
You just got to search up OK Storytime, and then you'll get the sweet siren song,
sweet nectar
of our
into your
discussion
ears.
and these stories just whispered into your ears.
There's another relevant update. And I'm just going to go right into it. I am so heartbroken. I thought I was the problem and my vet husband needed help.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP-show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X is. Well, let's get back to the story.
Clearly, he does need help, but he's going to find it without me.
Yeah, he needs help getting his freaking... Can't say that one.
Yep.
Can't say that out loud.
I'm pretty sure this will be the last update. I'm so depressed right now. I can't stop crying. Just know it wasn't you. My daughter has no clue and is happily playing in the backyard with her cousins. How do I tell her what's going on now? How do I uproot her from her life and make her have a different one? Where do I go with my horses, both on land and sea? The water horses and the land horses. How do I afford
callback.
housing long term and crap? Now, do I have to talk to my bosses and ask for help? Is he going to fight me over custody? How do I afford a lawyer? Do I need a lawyer? Can I just walk away? Do I have to split custody? Is he going to be a huge wiener over things? You definitely should get a lawyer. Did he actually love me? Does he love this other woman more than me? Not helpful questions. Was this what he was doing while our daughter was fighting for her life? Am I going to be okay? So many questions and not really good answers. More or less just writing this event. If anyone knows of good low-cost divorce lawyers close to Minneapolis, let me know. And that
is the end of that.
Is where that story ends. If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. My husband gave me an ultimatum. I quit my job or he leaves me. I got married a year and a half ago to the most incredible person. I just got out of a 6-year relationship. We were friends for a few months and it quickly became every bit of the classic when you know for the both of us. By the way, this comes from 11:11 p.m. And if you want to submit your own stories to r/OK Storytime subreddit, you should do so. So within 3 months, we bought our first home, got engaged after 9 months, and then got married almost a year to the day. Wait, you bought your home together before you got married? That's crazy. From our engagement with a dream dream destination wedding in Greece. We've been together now for 3+ years. And it's important to know we are in multicultural marriage. My husband is Hindu Punjabi, emigrated from India over a decade ago, and I'm white American. Greece was equidistant travel for both of our families, who got along famously and have really embraced the blending of cultures. We have a lot of family support on both sides. When we got married, we were on the same page about what we expected from each other and what we wanted. Our red lines were the old 1-2 buckle my shoe to each other's faces and cheating. We agreed everything else was a figure-outable. Okay. One of those things we agreed on was fitness. Early on in our relationship, we worked out together constantly, went on runs, etc. And we talked often about our mutual desire to continue to cultivate a long, healthy life together. A few differences to note. He grew up in a household with very traditional gender roles in India. His father was verbally naughty to his mother, would go days giving her the silent treatment. And my husband has been open about how witnessing this affected him growing up. His parents have worked it out over time, but his mom has shared openly about this dynamic with me. His father rarely has to lift a finger at home, but worked very hard to provide for the family. Very traditional Indian culture. My husband has 2 sisters who both take a more modern approach to their relationships, and that seems to be accepted within the family. My parents split responsibilities 50-50 as often as possible. Both worked full time. They've always been best friends, and I rarely saw them argue. So it's like a little bit different cultural context for both families.
Yeah.
My husband is easily triggered and very reactionary. Works on it in his own way, but refuses to try individual therapy. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Shortly after we got together, we moved to a new state for his job about an hour north of the city, where we met/had a lot of friends. Okay. He worked a mid-shift at the time and wasn't getting home until 1 to 3 a.m. for the first year of living in our state. Dang. The hour drive made it harder to see friends regularly, and I was home alone all the time. Integrative nutrition and movement gave me my life back a few years ago after being diagnosed with a chronic illness. So after about a year of living in our new state, I found a local fitness studio to start taking classes to tone up for our wedding and meet some new friends. Okay, so OP's getting a little fit. My husband had on and off issues with the green grass. Very all or nothing kind of person. No balance when the green grass is in the house. So that started to creep back just before we got married. It's a daily fight for him, and I'm here to help him through it. Every few months he relapses, goes on a bender, and then realizes it sends him deeper into depression. Being loved by a supportive partner gave me another level of confidence, and I felt like I could pursue just about anything and we'd somehow make it happen. I've been a fitness instructor in college and had always wanted to pick it back up. So with his late night schedule, I signed up for a yoga teacher training program and started the weekend we returned from our wedding. Awesome, OP. Sounds great.
Yeah.
It was every other weekend, intensives and big time commitment, but I made a point to try my best to nurture our free time together.
Absolutely.
I ended up loving teaching yoga, made lifelong friends, and was the first of my cohort to be offered a job right after the training at a studio. Teaching at this studio is highly competitive. Usually you have to do a mentorship, but they let me get right on the schedule. I was thrilled. My husband started experiencing pretty significant job stress around this time, and honestly, a really awful boss situation. We've all been there, and started showing symptoms of high functioning depression. Oh, that's so sad. In bed for both weekend days, doom scrolling and watching football. Dude, doom scrolling is rough.
It's hard to break out of that.
Yeah,
It's very hard to break out of that.
You know, sometimes you just got to turn off your phone or just tune
so
in
hard.
to one. You don't
Or,
scroll. Just tune in
just
to
stay
a live
here.
stream every weekday at 3 p.m.
Don't
PST.
doom scroll.
Don't
just
doom
watch
scroll.
us.
Just hang out with us all
Just
day.
watch us for 10 hours.
Yeah. Withdrawn from activities that used to make him happy. No desire to spend time with friends and limited energy to spend time with me. His parents, my parents, and some of our friendships noticed the change. Instead of a partnership, he started expressing his desire for me to act more like a stay-at-home wife. So what that seems like is he's losing control of his life. So he thinks controlling your life will make him feel better. It's not going to.
Because you are doing so well in your life.
Yeah,
and
he
everything
wants
is going
exactly.
looking good for you.
Dinner on the table every night, house tidy as my main responsibility. I also work a 9 to 5 remote from home job and am the breadwinner. So it was very hard to have this expectation morph from a shared responsibility to solely mine.
Especially because it seems like he has more traditional gender.
Also, she's bringing home the bacon. She can't bring home the bacon and also kill the
Yeah,
pig.
Come on.
'Cause,
You gotta pull.
it's too much.
When you switch roles, you gotta take up the slack, buddy.
All of this was building until we found out I had an aggressive form of pre-cancer and had to see a specialist for treatment in another state. 8-hour round trips every weekend for months. The whole thing seemed to give him purpose again, and confronted with my potential early mortality, we spent our car rides talking about our dreams and life goals. We dreamed up an idea to start a matcha and cold pressed juice camper to have a little side business together on the weekends, and started moving forward with that. But as soon as I got the all clear last June, he fell right back into a depressive episode. I tried to plan small activities without putting too much on his plate. Work stress was still at an all-time high, but after a while, he started to resent me from keeping him away from being in bed. You gotta get out of bed.
This is really frustrating because he's, as he said, I mean, like he's fully into like. Has
He's really
depression.
depressed, and that sucks, but
Yeah,
he's also refusing help. He's like, no, I don't want to do any therapy.
Yeah, and this is all being put on OP.
This is
Really
so...
sucks. Who is like doing really well and like just got
Doing
through this
well.
cancer diagnosis
And being so supportive
Yeah.
of her husband, trying to
Yeah.
make sure that he gets out of bed. Like, ugh. I continued with our business plans alone, kept teaching yoga, working my 9 to 5, and holding it down for him at home. But no amount of me would help pull him out of his work bed depression cycle. In his darker moments, he expressed that he felt like my job teaching yoga was taking away from my ability to be there for him.
No, he wants to pull you. He is feeling bad and he is feeling like he is in a pit and he's trying to pull you into this pit with him. And it's not going to help you or him. It is not going to bring him out of the pit if you jump in with him.
Miss Mama Liz says this guy needs to get out of bed while that's all Sam wants to do. Please let me sleep, guys.
No.
Please.
Keep going.
No.
He expressed that he felt like my job teaching yoga was taking away from my ability to be there for him. When I asked for specifics, he's like to tell me I should know that no matter what I did, I was somehow falling short. At this point, I'd fallen in love with teaching yoga. My classes started weightlifting. Helping my students gave me a passion and purpose, and I'd finally found real community, which was such a bright spot when there was no effort being put into our partnership at home. Our fights began to escalate, and I found myself on the receiving end of low blows, name calling, and verbal abuse. I tried so hard to meet him where he was and stay neutral / non-reactive, but you can only be called a witch so many times without losing it on occasion. This past November, he was promoted and finally had normal work hours. I switched my workout schedule at the studio to mornings so that I could be there for him when he got home at night, with the exception of one night a week. And when I got offered a second class / weekend spot on the yoga schedule because my first class was doing so well, I wanted to accept it immediately, but made a point to ask him first. He said he was okay with it, but hated the idea. So he's not okay with it?
Yeah.
Over the past year of teaching, it's been hard seeing instructor friends' husbands show up for them. Something about this gig my husband just hates, and I wish he could just be supportive and proud. But anytime I spend at the yoga studio, max 3 hours weekly, he's expressed it takes away from him somehow.
3 hours weekly?
It's barely
Come
any
on.
time. A girlfriend who he knows well and I thought likes as a human from the yoga studio came over Monday night to do a little bit of work on a series we're doing together. I cooked dinner for us all, made sure my husband had what he needed, and after my friend left, I got in bed and gave him a hug, only to be met by "get the F away from me," followed by 48 hours. 48 hours of the silent treatment.
This is not okay.
Imagine if we gave you 48 hours of silent treatment, how mad you would be.
Pretty bad.
Imagine instead we gave you 47 days of 24-hour content back to back that you could listen to your ear holes. If you just looked up OK Storytime, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is, you can listen to us 24/7.
Really quick, didn't they say that someone else had done this before of giving the silent treatment?
Yes, his father,
So
father
this
like
is learned
son.
behavior.
He's learned behavior. Despite my pleading to try to have a conversation last night, he came to me and said, "It's yoga or me."
Pick yoga.
Pick yoga. Pick yoga.
No, this isn't going to solve anything.
Yeah, man is very unflexible. He should maybe try some yoga, honestly. You have until Sunday to quit your teaching job or I'm leaving our marriage, and I'm just gutted. I've tried to offer compromise and even offered to take a short leave of absence from teaching, but he refuses to speak to me until I make my decision. On Sunday, and apparently it's all or nothing, movement has saved my mental health. I found so much purpose through teaching, having a student approach me to tell me they sleep better on nights they'd taken one of my classes exercises, or they feel more relaxed or inspired in any way, just absolutely lights me up. I finally feel seen standing up there, and I've somehow gotten good at it. I love being of service to people. Yoga has transformed my mental health so much that I stepped away from therapy in 2023, but out of desperation, I reached out to my former psychologist for an emergency session this morning, who told me to hold the line and not quit just because he's threatening to leave. Hearing her say, the hardest thing you will ever do is say no and then watch what he does next, has ripped me to my core. I still love this man and desperately want to make it work, even though I know if I were to hear this story from a friend or stranger, they'd tell me to run. And you should only run to us on the r/OK Storytime podcast. It's called OK Storytime. You could look it up on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Anyway, I finally told my parents what's been going on. They're supportive. I quietly reached out to his sister, who reassured me that we are family and they'd knock more sense into him. But am I missing something here? The ultimatum seems like it's about something so much deeper than my yoga job. It's about control. He's trying to control you. But it's ripping me apart that the person I love wants me to quit something I'm so passionate about. I mean,
Because
obviously,
he feels emasculated
Yeah.
by your success and your happiness.
yeah, he's like, I want you. I think he thinks he'll feel better if you're groveling and sad like he is.
Which he's not.
He
He's
wants
not
solidarity.
in the space where he can be a partner for you right now.
Yeah.
He's only a poison.
I become so passionate about that. Not sure what my next move is, but I'd love to hear any takes from fellow internet stranger friends. Edit, I've asked him to seek and marriage counseling. The ultimatum he gave me is totally rude in an attempt to control me.
Yeah.
My current plan is to give him options. One of those options being therapy or mediation of some kind. I think that's a great idea, OP, and I'm glad that you're seeing through his shenanigans.
Yeah.
My husband has a card hobby, and it's destroying our marriage.
The hobby is alive and well. The hobby is alive and well.
I need advice. My husband and I have been married for 5 years with a 3-year-old daughter, and my husband's card hobby is destroying our marriage. I've never heard that one before. For background, last year, he started getting into wanting a hobby/business and is buying and selling NFL, NBA cards, which he started after having gambling issues with roulette.
Oh no.
By the way, this comes from user ConsciousShine8265. And if you want to submit your stories, go over to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. He ended up hiding how much he was spending, putting at least $8,000 on the credit cards in 2 to 3 months without him selling any cards. I am the breadwinner in the family as well. I make approximately $7,200 a month post taxes, and he makes about $4,000 a month post taxes. Before having the hobby, he also bought a $90,000 car with a $1,745 car payment because it made him happy, although I said it was not a good idea. Girl, not a good idea? You can't afford that.
That wasn't an idea.
Due to the spending issue and other factors like him having anger issues, I filed for divorce last year. Yeah. He said he would quit the hobby and sell all his things, do therapy, and change. I canceled the divorce and stayed to work on the marriage with a marriage counselor. We did sessions, but over time, he hasn't felt like they've been necessary. We now have $72,000 in debt consolidation because of cards, his past gambling, as well as multiple different things. 1 year later, he's now into his hobby again, and he's already put about $800 on the credit cards. He is trying to use TikTok and whatnot to do a game platform and make money. His philosophy is you have to spend money to make money. For example, he wanted to buy $1,000 worth of packs of unopened cards to try and sell them. When I explained that I'm not a fan of this hobby, he says I can't ever let him have a hobby, and I'm glad it's not golf because he would never be home. At this point, do golf.
Do golf.
Do golf.
It's not your... Oh, because he would be gambling on golf too.
I mean, at least then he'd be an athlete.
At least he'd be putting some energy into it and get some sun. He like, watch guys, I can do a hole in one, $1,000.
That's a crazy bet. I honestly feel like this is not going to end well. We have also tried splitting finances, but that wasn't the best as he was not always able to pay me back for half the mortgage or our daughter's school. I really just don't think this marriage is going to last unless I support this hobby and let him buy and spend whatever he thinks is necessary.
No, stop. Don't support this.
Why are we supporting the man-child
who makes half the income and you're the breadwinner?
Clearly, he needs support for his gambling problem because this is just an extension of that.
The card hobby that he's describing right now, there are collectors he is a gambler.
Yes, I guarantee you, if he buys $1,000 worth of unopened packs and he doesn't sell them in a day and a half, those packs are going to get opened.
He's not going to make his money back.
Update. I went through his eBay account and found he put 2 bids for a $1,500 card and $1,900 card and made an offer to a third card for $1,900. I also forgot to put our ages. I'm 32 and he is 42.
The hobby's alive and well.
Update number 2. Got into an argument and said I was not happy and wanted a divorce. His reply was, I told you I wouldn't let the hobby ruin the family and I'll get rid of everything, etc. My reply was, that's beside the point, which, yes, at this point, that's not even the main concern. It's everything else. Here's some comments. Number 1, he doesn't have a hobby. He has an addiction, and that is gambling. Opening trading card packs is the same thing as gambling, only in this case, you're hoping to hit it big with that one card that sells for hundreds of thousands. Trading cards can be a hobby if one responsibly collects and buys single cards that they want for their hobby, and at times open packs for the fun of it. Your husband is not doing that. He needs to address and get treatment for his gambling problems, and due to gambling's close association with collecting trading cards, he's going to need to give it up. If he can't, not only will your marriage not survive, he will ruin his life financially beyond repair. Comment number 2 is, you're going to be so amazed at how much more money you have after you divorce him.
Yeah.
Number 3, ma'am, at this point, you are the problem as much as he is. You aren't putting your foot down. You aren't protecting yourself. You're allowing it to continue. Wake up, walk out, or get him in with an addiction therapist and cut off all his access to money and cards. You can do this. You deserve better. OP replies, I totally agree with you. I started seeing a therapist to help me with this as well. And we have another update. I'm just going to say this, and then we're going to continue with the update.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I'm going to talk about?
I think you're going to say the divorce is the right thing.
Yes,
because
but what was the biggest red flag?
well, obviously the husband just gaslighting the wife or OP, and that the card hobby is just a hobby and not an addiction, and spending the money is he's going to make the profit back.
Honestly, that was a way more thoughtful answer. Mine doesn't even have anything to do with the cards. The $90,000 luxury vehicle that he cannot afford that was paid for on your dime.
Because it makes him happy.
What are we doing? All right? That is a no. That is a huge no-no. Red flag.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X's. Well, let's get back to the story.
Update. I have asked for a divorce 2 days ago.
Okay.
But he told me he still wanted to be together. Today, it was brought up again, and he said he would get the divorce, and he has accepted it. Well, that's good at least.
At least he's not gambling that.
Man, it's just such a shame, dude. He's clearly has a problem, but
well, OP tried. OP tried. OP tried with therapy and, putting their foot down and communicating, and obviously it didn't do a damn thing.
It's out of your hands at this point. You've done what you can. I have a great sense of relief, yet a significant amount of grief. Grief for the past, the present, and future, as well as not knowing what the future will hold, and if I made the right choice for my daughter. The relief is knowing I won't have to worry about any hobbies or being yelled at and called names for reasons that are dumb. We have not obtained a lawyer, but I assume we would do that in the upcoming weeks. I hope this was the best decision for both of us, and we can have a happy future apart for our daughter. And by the way, you can have a happy future with us by listening to full episodes with stories like this one.
Just like this one.
All you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and search OK Storytime. Simple as that. Before we finish the story, because there's a little bit left, I do like where we're at here. I like that, she made the hard decision. She said, we're getting the divorce.
And I know she's still wondering if this is the best option for her her daughter. In the hindsight, 1,000%. I know it sucks, but this is the best option.
If he refuses to get treatment for his gambling problems, that is 100% going to impact your daughter down the line if you are a joint household.
Because guess what? He's not only financially abusing the family right now, but he's also emotionally abusing you, and that's just that's an environment.
That's unacceptable.
That's not an environment for anyone to be in, let alone a child.
This dum-dum who's spending thousands of dollars on sports cards that he's opening which is not how you make money, is berating you about you doing dumb things. It's just not something you do in a loving relationship with your wife that you have a child with.
Yeah.
So he's got his own problems to work out, and it's best that he does it away from you and your child. And the grief is understandable, but with some counseling and some time, I think you'll find that you have made the right decision here.
And I think if he finally understands where his life is going, hopefully it hits him, sooner rather than later, but maybe he'll understand, and then maybe he can still be a figure in your child's life. But right now, he needs to learn the hard way, because it just keeps like repeating of, okay, I'll do this, but let me keep doing this.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped. So that's unfortunate, but this is how you stop someone.
At some point, you can probably consider finding a path to co-parenting,
Yes.
So let's finish this story. If there's any advice for life during the divorce process and after with children involved, we do have one daughter who is turning 3, then I would love that as well. Cheers to new beginnings. And there's another update.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for the advice and support. Definitely made the right decision, as now he decides cards weren't his thing and he's looking into doing e-commerce. Looking at getting my own lawyer and moving out. And we do have some comments here. Comment 1, I'm echoing everywhere here. There is no we in lawyer. You need to go get the best divorce attorney in town before he does. You have loads of financial baggage to unpack with his gambling and hobbies and his not always paying me back for our child. Your lawyer and you may, and that is a should from my eyes, want a forensic accountant to take a good look at all of his finances and make sure you are actually aware of the whole truth. That will include making sure there aren't things in your name that you're unaware of. Yes, you did a debt consolidation, but that doesn't mean you saw everything. And since you have a child who he had shorted in the past, getting a support order with extra insurances built in will be your lawyer's job. Maybe you want him to fund 3 or 6 months up front because he's demonstrated that he's reckless with money. You probably want a judge to agree to direct garnishment of his wages rather than money going to him first. Once money is in his hands, he's irresponsible. Prove that point and get the garnishment. So, and this is the voice of experience, you need a really good lawyer who has experience working with complex financial settlements. This isn't a standard, here we agree, we just want out divorce that any family lawyer could handle. Start asking around. Ask your banker or your investment person for recommendations. And if you don't have these types of people, your friends might. Network around. Good luck. It sounds like you're making the right choice. Now just steel yourself to probably have a fight to ensure he contributes his share to his daughter and to you. This is all phenomenal advice, I think. Like,
This is sound.
I feel like OP's a little too nonchalant.
I would agree on
You need to
that.
go get a good one.
OP
a good
has
attorney.
I think OP's just trying not to let go and like trying to find a situation or a solution that can make the best possible outcome. It's not working.
This is
It's
going to end in conflict, I think. Because your husband has a gambling problem, if he maybe sees an opportunity to get money out of you in the divorce, he probably will take it. So I don't know. I would go get a really good attorney like this person is saying.
Yeah. You want to stop enabling his actions.
Don't let it feel mean to you to want a garnishment. Don't let him or your inner monologue or anyone else tell you that turning over all the stones in his financial dealings is wrong or too hard on him or not trusting, blah, blah, blah. Any divorce is tragic. Many divorces are complicated, and yours is one of them because of his financial malfeasance. Stay the course for your daughter and for yourself. Oh, and also don't abandon the marital home without legal advice. Generally speaking, if you want to maintain it as a residence for you and your daughter, he has to leave, and a liquidation would be postponed until her maturity or high school graduation. But that might not be feasible given his finances. Just don't move out without direct advice of counsel. Again, best of luck. And there is a second comment. I would check your credit and make sure no credit cards are open that you didn't know about, and then freeze your credit and social security number. I would do a sit down and have one heartfelt talk. His expense will go up and the amount coming in will go down due to your income being gone and him living on his own. That for his own sake, he should get a financial planner and solo counseling, or he could get into some serious debt and with the wrong people. Hopefully you both can continue to be civil for your child. And that is the end of that story.
Yeah. The comments took it away, and I think we also said on top of that the right stuff, and just stop enabling him, and you just got to make sure you put your foot down.
You gotta look out right now. What you need to look out for is you and your daughter. And I think the joint attorney search, not a good idea. You're gonna have to pick a side. But it's still tough, and there's grief involved. OP doesn't want her marriage to end, but at this point, he's kind of backed you in a corner and giving you no other choice.
That's unfortunately the only path. You've done every other option. It seems like you've tried to have a conversation. You tried therapy. It's just unfortunate. And again, this is the best answer for you and your daughter.
True.
But that is the end of that story.
My husband is trying to exploit our marriage for content.
For content!
I mean, John's always down for that.
For content!
So, my husband, John, fake name, and I,
Sorry. How old?
300, I think. My husband, John, fake name, and I have been married for over 2 years and dated for about 3 years before that. Overall, we have a generally healthy relationship with good communication. By the way, this comes from I don't have ADHD on the Are Such Okay Storytime subreddit.
And for context, the male is 25 and the female is 26.
Okay. So when we first got married, we used to go on lots of dates. Not necessarily anything big, sometimes just coffee or a drive, but we went out of our way to get out of the house together for quality time. As time has passed, I have taken on more freelance work, keeping me busier, and he started saying that he's just too tired, doesn't feel like getting ready to go out after work or on his days off. Up until now, I haven't had an issue with that. He does work a lot, and I don't blame him, but here is where things have changed. A couple of months ago, he got really interested in digital marketing, basically selling products online. He bought an expensive course to help him learn and has started trying to consistently post 3 times a day in order to build a following on a new Instagram account.
Okay, consistency.
So he's really putting a lot of work into this. Also, that's more than us a day. We only post
Dude,
twice a day.
We need to up our game.
Up our game. I'm not holding my breath that it will work out for several reasons that I won't get into here unless you want them, but I've never discouraged him for doing it. When he gets stressed, I encourage him. I tell him often that I'm proud of all his hard work. I am, etc. I only mention that to say that I'm not against him trying this out and haven't put him down for it ever. But this is why I've gotten a little sad. Last week, we went on a cute date after he got off work on Saturday, and I loved it. We laughed and talked and generally had a great time like those first dates after getting married. While we were on the date, I had an idea for a cute reel that took maybe 5 minutes to record, and then I put my phone away for the rest of the time. When we got home, I created and posted the reel, adding him as a collaborator with his new digital marketing Instagram account at his request. At his request. I guess he's gotten advice to post real life things, not just videos trying to sell. No biggie. I didn't mind. Well, since I already have a following, small but bigger than his, that reel did better than any of the other ones on his account.
Uh-oh.
Great. We both thought. But now he's asked to go on a small date every Saturday.
Here we go.
Girl, that's just called aligned incentives.
Double down on what works, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what John and Sam do. I will say, I'm going to call John out on one thing. For OK Raps, one time my face got like 10 million views, and ever since then, my face is the first thing that shows up on an OK Raps reel because I think he wants to try and do that. Is that correct?
Why?
Then why is my face always there?
Because it made sense for you to ask the question, and then we were like, person asks questions, we respond.
I was totally wrong.
Although to go on Riley's example, we had like one TikTok that was like, who has the best producer tag? I then proceeded to make 100 TikToks on who has the best producer tag. We must make 100 videos to know.
John is Mr. Double Down.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've heard of Mr. Worldwide, but have you heard of Mr. Double Down? At first, I was so happy. I'd love to get back to our regular dates, but then he said it would be so that we could get content for his page.
For content.
He asked if I could be a collaborator on all or most of the posts, but if he could post them himself so he gets credit for the engagement. I guess all the views, the likes, etc. don't actually bump his page analytics since I was the one who created the post. Well, I'm feeling hurt because for over a year he hasn't shown much interest in taking me out. Now, all of a sudden, because he needs content and saw how I could help his view count go up.
Content.
He wants to go on dates, though. I guess I'm feeling used and like I'm not any kind of priority. I feel like the dates won't even count as actual dates because he's not asking to go out to spend them with me. He's just like, babe, can you hold this tripod right here? All right, no, babe, hit record. All right, we gotta go again, 3 times.
This might not be real love, but these are real views.
I do want to reiterate that I'm not opposed to him doing this side job, and I'm not even opposed to helping him or collaborating on posts, though I prefer not to do it every week. I'm actually really happy, whether or not it works out as a moneymaker, that he's just putting a lot of effort into something that excites him. I haven't seen him this into anything, maybe ever.
Oh no, this is gonna crash so hard. Because not only is the content maybe not gonna work out, but then your relationship, if it doesn't work, it's just gonna crash so hard. Because he's this excited.
Or you become like one of those couple vloggers
Mm-hmm.
and then just blow up huge. And as long as the views are good, you at least have to fake it for the camera, so you'll have some semblance of the relationship.
You'll have something in common.
You'll have something in common.
Needing to pretend to be in a relationship to generate an income.
Hey, this is Hollywood, baby. You gotta fake it until you make it.
Showtime.
You know what would be so messed up is if he figures out monetization and he gets like money from this, but like does not pay OP at all.
He pays OP in love, and she pays him in frickin' views.
Dude, he pays her in exposure.
Yeah, it's not his fault that her love language is quality time and his is views on Instagram.
And his is qualified views.
Babe, you see, like your heart is in your heart, and my heart is just below the post with that little next to the comment bubble,
Mm-hmm.
that little like button. If you could just like that. I'm asking for advice because I don't know if I should bring this up to him or not. And if I do, what should I say? The last thing I want to do is make him feel bad or discourage him in his new endeavor. Should I just be grateful to be going on dates again? Am I being selfish? Opie is asking for the lowest bar. Thanks for any and all advice if this is very long. If this could be posted to the sub, I'm open to suggestions. I couldn't post it on relationship advice because it has to be a yes or no question. Edit because so many people are getting hung up on the double standard of me making content on the date but not wanting him to. I just want to clarify, I'm not a content creator by any means. I asked if he wanted to do a reel and he said yes. It's not a regular thing as I don't post much. To me, the difference here is that the whole point of these dates moving forward will be to get content. And for him, it will be work, where for me, it was just a fun thing for us. Maybe this doesn't make a difference, but that's just how I see it in my head. And there are some relevant comments and an update. I'm just seeing win-wins, baby.
All I'm
just
seeing
wins.
is views.
All I'm seeing is views. You know, at the base of every relationship is a 10 million view TikTok.
Babe, how are we supposed to subscribe to this relationship if we cannot get people to subscribe to our content? I ask you that simple question.
Yeah. If our love was true enough, the internet would know and they would watch it a million times. You know? True love gets views.
It's facts.
John showed me a beautiful video that had like 14 million views about true love. Story
I
course.
did.
You did.
I
You
did
Remember
do
that?
that.
Remember that?
Yes, and it was a beautiful story.
It was it made me cry.
You right?
It was great.
There you go.
But we got some comments. So Caroline Sakura says, how about you tell him how you feel and that a date is a date and reels are for work. If he wants to go on dates just to get views, those can be only 1 on 5 dates if you are comfortable with even that. Communicate. And the ring says communication is key. You could talk to him and with the idea above, even in frame, that date as a work date. If you're on board and comfortable, maybe keep the Saturdays as your special dates and then whatever day lines up. Other than that, try to make reels together. But what if the spice of the relationship is the reels? You know, before you had these reels, there were no dates. As soon as you recorded it, there's dates. You know, it's kind of like when you're playing poker and you're not playing with real money. It's like, oh, is this fun? But as soon as you're playing for a little bit of cash, it's like it spices up the game.
The whole thing changes.
You know, I think if you love for views, maybe you love a little bit harder.
Whoa.
Never think about that, did you? Did you think about that? If you generally don't like the idea, then tell him that as well. Away Grapefruit 4297 says, so He is in an MLM, and he admitted that this wanting to go out with you was to support his cultish business rather than to get because he values the time. That hurts. I get it. I'm sorry. I do want to say that these companies / opportunities / MLMs are very scripted, high pressure, and designed to make people think if they fail, they are at fault, despite the actual setup being a massive reason for the failure. They literally borrow cult tactics in order to prey on people. I think you should talk about your feelings because I also think you should tread lightly because the whole system is designed to be defensive if you bring up reason. It's part of the gig. There are lots of hugs. I'm sorry. And there is an update.
So what is he trying to sell on his Instagram account again?
I don't know. Maybe like,
All we know is that he bought a expensive course
Yeah.
to help him do it.
yeah, something like that.
Maybe my guess was he bought an expensive course on how to make expensive courses. That was my guess.
Makes sense.
But we got an update.
Ho!
So, first of all, thank you to the vast majority of you who are logical and kind. And screw the people who immediately jumped to bashing women in 2024. Really? Anyway, here's what I ended up doing. Many of the comments said that the best thing to do is probably just take the win and find the good in my situation. But if it's really bothering me to bring it up to John, I honestly didn't want to, but I didn't want to be upset on every date either. So I decided to give it a trial run and see how I felt after. I waited 2 weeks to make a decision and chose to go ahead and mention it to him. For those of you who think I'm some dramatic witch whose husband could never do enough to make her happy, I told him I was sure how I felt wasn't how he intended to come across, but then explained what I'd been thinking. Sure enough, as many of you said, he was simply killing two birds with one stone. I told him I was totally fine creating content on our dates. I just didn't want to feel like that was why we were on a date. He said that he understood and would be careful about that. And if I was bothered or wanted to have a no content date, to just let him know. So that's the good part. The next part was a little tougher. Per the advice of a couple of you with either digital marketing or MLM experience, I had the tough pyramid scheme talk.
Ooh, it was an MLM though. That sucks.
I told him before, during, and after this conversation that no matter what he chooses, I do and I will support him and help him. But I also explained to him a few things. How the marketing was misleading, how most people lose money instead of making it, how they will try to keep trying to get him to spend more money to make it work, etc. I also suggested that he track his hours of learning, content creating, and posting so that even if he does start making sales, he can decide if the time is worth the payout. I probably mentioned other things as well, but I don't remember what if so. I've always been very anti-MLM and like to think I know a lot about it, so I just tried to give him all the basic info in a kind way. After all that, I told him if he wanted to keep trying, I was for it as long as he doesn't invest any more money before he makes some. I also told him how I was proud of all the work he put into his side hustle so far and how I loved that he was excited about it, how he's getting up early to work out because of it. He will record parts of his runs, stretches, etc., but actually does a full workout or run, and I love how it's energized him. By the way, if you want to be energized, you should join our YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, where we go live, and we're probably live right now, so tap our profile. I'm going to go straight into the update, so understandably. Yeah, exactly that.
That's exactly what OP
We're
did.
looking at a meme of The Office of Michael realizing he's in a pyramid scheme. So,
yeah.
Understandably, he was a little sad and quiet, but he understood everything and wasn't mad at all. This was all night, and he was totally back to normal before bed, and he's continued posting today. So I guess it didn't hurt his feelings or discourage him like I thought it might. That's the whole reason I waited so long, but I guess it would have been fine all along. I'm looking forward to our weekly dates and to the fact that we will be able to look back and remember them all since we will have videos from each one. Again, grateful for all of your kind words, and I'm happy to answer comments or questions. Just be nice, for goodness sake. And that is where that story ends, and this episode ends.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I
Communication.
Communication. I like that story. It was, a funny little uptick. And
Yeah.
you know what? Also, man, if he's just like getting out there, recording content, going to the gym. Remember how she said the line where she's like, I've never seen him this like into anything or like activate.
It sounds like, yes, he's recording for the videos of the gym. And yes, he's recording the dates for the videos, but it sounds like he's just like the recording of his life is actually making him do the things that he should do.
Right? He's now under the world's watchful eye.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find this guy's Instagram.
See it.
No way. I would love to see it though, if we can.
There's no way.
There's no way. There's no way.
man.
Looking at the comments.
There's a way